Pretty sure we're live. I'm still checking stuff out, so let me know how. Stream status.
Yeah, let us know if you can hear us all right, if you see us.
All right, says the health is good. Got everything going on the top chat here. Let's see. All right, everybody, let us know if you can hear us loud and clear. There's the okay. All right. We're going to give it 5 minutes or so to let everybody kind of filter in here before we get into the nonsense and what have you. James Niffen, we're going to start with a desert island ball for each of you, both out of your current main arsenal and all time. So I'm assuming that means if you're stuck on a desert island, you got one ball to take with you, assuming they have a bowling
Assuming they have a bowling lane and a kegel machine worthy of running. Man, that's tough. I think my most successful ball ever was the original Game Breaker, but man, I have a soft spot in my heart for that Fuse Eliminator.
Yeah.
So,
mine was the Raging Red Fuse that I've got the soft spot for, but my OG Triple OG is the original Taboo.
Oh yeah, that one was really good too.
I mean, it got better as it died. It turned into, I think it turned into like an IQ or something. IQ
right.
4 solid as soon as it died. So
yeah, I think I definitely have to go with the original Game Breaker as far as most fun to throw and successful at the same time.
That's terrible. All right, folks who throw a lot of stuff that drilled pin down, hold down, is there any legit hope of being able to recreate that with the new rule changes?
Well, that would mean that the rule changes made a humongous difference.
Yeah, the rule changes, and we'll get into that when we get into the rule changes and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to kind of circumvent or kind of get around it. There's not stuff that you're going to be able to, we'll talk about the beer in a minute too. There's not a lot of stuff, or there's going to be some stuff that you can do to circumvent and get around it. It's not going to be you're not going to be able to get the same numbers, but according to their video anyway, the Lance D, what's up? There's a certain level where ball reaction kind of plateaus according to their study, and I think that's why they didn't go after the differential. I think it's in their video that they put on YouTube. I think it's in the video. I think that's where I saw it.
I think there's a graph there discussing how
once you get up past an 050 diff, everything kind of levels off. So if somebody was talking to me about putting a double thumb in there and taking it up to 070, well, yeah, you're not going to be able to get numbers like that anymore, but
that means you're manipulating ball reaction already, which is what they're trying to eliminate. So part of that is what they're trying to get away from. So
they're trying to get the reason they brought it down to 060 in the first place is because that's kind of where they wanted it. But with the drilling holes and that's really the purpose of a weight hole, is to change the shape of the core, which changes the dynamics and the numbers of the core to produce these numbers. So they're trying to kind of eliminate. They want it to stay as close to 060 as you can get. There's still some stuff you can do. If you drill the thumb super deep, you're going to make the core taller, you're going to increase the differential. And so you're going to get a little bit more out of it, but it's not going to be like stupid numbers like 070 and 080 and stuff that they can get with like a motion hole or whatever. So.
And it should, you should kind of embrace that, because for those who don't have the opportunity to do that or don't have a ball driller competent enough to do something like that, they're at a bit of a disadvantage. So in my eyes, USBC has done this portion of this rule change just make it a little bit more fair all around, so that the elites don't have an equipment advantage other than just having the equipment over us.
Well, other than just being better than everybody.
Right.
I digress. Let's see here. We'll give it a couple more minutes. We'll talk about the beer a little bit. This is my brother and company. Adam, Melissa, Jared, and Emily over at Northman Brewing Company. This is their Cherry Milkshake IPA, and you can definitely taste the hops, but it's a smoother IPA. I'd have to say it's not one of the more bitter ones.
It almost kind of drinks like there was a piece of cake in it. It's got that heavy, creamy kind of finish, but you can definitely tell that it's definitely beer. As soon as it hits your tongue, it's lighter in color typically too. The one I go after, it almost kind of looks like a Boulevard Weed or like a Shock Top.
Yeah, because it's got that. It's not clear. It's kind of
and you can't see through it. So it's
almost milky. One would say for the Cherry Milkshake IPA.
It is actually fantastic. Don't ever let a beer deter you because of its title. peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Those are good. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Stout
is delicious. And I typically would aim away from the word stout, but it works. So don't deter yourself if you get a cherry milkshake that it's not a beer. Absolutely beer that's probably in the 7th percentile ABV. So it's a beer.
It's a little sweet, but it's gonna
Absolutely.
like Milwaukee's best. No.
No, it's definitely Kansas's best.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Route 66 missing right, not a good idea. And the Sonic roll's heavy enough to where I think it's going to help you out, but yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot extra. Well, I think it's better for Sport Sharp flatter pattern, symmetric or asymmetric. That really I think depends on rev rate. If you've got a higher rev rate, stay away from the ASIMs. If you've got a lower rev rate, go for the ASIMs. It's kind of the Liz Johnson. Are you Liz Johnson or are you AJ Johnson?
Right. Yeah, and they both throw both balls when it's called for. And, length of the pattern will have a bit of a difference with that in reality, too. You really want some big balls if they're, 38, 35 feet.
Yeah. But two that we've seen everybody throwing, GB3 idle.
Yeah, on everything.
Everybody's throwing on everything, like the PBA League show, all the Storm staffers, but like one. I think,
and it'd be like DJ Moore.
Yeah, Beef Stew was throwing something different, but everybody else was throwing idle. I think most of the Ebonite staffers are throwing GB3 on just about everything. So
pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing like a solid, strong benchmark ball.
Yeah. Now the shot of Olathe East and KC Bowl for the state tournament. It's really funny you should add.
Yeah.
In KC Bowl, they don't oil for the first 4 feet of the lane. So if you're somebody that likes to get the ball down really early like I do and just can't loft whatsoever, it's not in my DNA. I used to be, I didn't like to admit I couldn't do something. I can't freaking loft. I can't do it. And I'm not even going to try. It's embarrassing. Even more embarrassing than
And the point that I would make to that is, I got to watch this and, you're looking back as a spectator and he put that ball exactly where he put it when he was striking 2 frames ago. And now it's not striking anymore. It took a little bit of research because you don't typically look that far down and looking for that miss per se.
I about had a mental breakdown for like 6 frames of the 3rd game because I'm like, I'd lay the ball down and feel great coming off, and then it's like 5 boards left, and I'm like, man, I'm not missing. You can tell when you yank something 5 boards, and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on until I remembered. It's like, okay, well, I'm just getting it down too soon. And then Olathe East is really wet and kind of flat. So,
if you get it outside of 6, 7, it's not hooking.
You can play straight. We ended up playing pretty deep. We saw other people playing straight. As long as you don't get outside 7, you're going to be fine. Once you start getting that past that, it kind of plays like a...
Unless it's like 45 feet down the lane, then you're okay.
Sport pattern. Two-hander, do you think my ball reaction will change now that I can't have a thumb hole? Probably.
Yep. A little bit.
Yeah, if... It depends on the core shape. If you don't get down into the core, again, if you're not, you can drill holes deep as you want to, and you're not going to change much unless you get down into that core and change the shape of the core, which changes the numbers. So it depends on how much core you're taking out every time. But again, I don't.
If you're using as a legit thumb hole, that you're not using, then yeah, I would say. Yeah. But if it's something that's like offset just there to look like a layout, then probably not. Yeah. But I agree. I think it would change quite a bit.
And I think at this point you can change ball selection. Because if you have a ball with an 040 diff, you put a thumb hole in that takes up to 050, just get a ball with an 050. That's kind of the thing is ball selection and layout selection are going to be more important, or you put yes and no. So I think it's already important. I already put a lot of importance because I don't want to have to go back later and say, well, this is not quite what I want it to be, so I'm just going to punt and throw a weight hole in there and try to fix on the back end.
Right.
So it's one of those things where if you don't get what you're aiming for out of the, at first, then you don't have the option to adjust the reaction. But surface is always going to be a bigger reaction or a bigger adjustment than anything else.
Completely true.
The stronger of core you get, the more layout matters, especially when you're getting up into the ASIMs. But they have enough variety, and there's another big thing. I guess there should be enough people here to kind of check things out. But another big thing is that they said that every single ball on the market right now meets the absorption spec. So the new absorption,
with room.
Yeah, with room. So the worst one, the one that absorbed it the quickest, was at 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and the limit is 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So I had previously thought that they were going to kind of back the covers off a little bit. I think most everybody thought, well, there's a new absorption spec, so that's going to rein things in a little bit. It's not reining things in at all. So everything that's legal now, and they say, especially when they say, well, everything that's approved now is going to be grandfathered.
Right.
And so that made everybody
As long
think,
as it doesn't have a hole.
Yeah, that made everybody think that the differential is coming back down again and whatever like that, and it didn't affect anything. So I wouldn't start stockpiling balls or anything like that. Literally nothing is going to change as far as the cover stock strength and any of that ball strength they're going to keep putting stuff out just like they have been. So
it's going to be easier on guys like us drilling bowling balls too. If you get an asymmetrical ball with kind of a big offset on, towards the positive side with a layout, like your Sherlock, we're not going to have to really dial it in to get to that 1 ounce. They're allowing quite a bit of room to kind of compensate a little bit for, weight holes and not having to get the static weight back down to an ounce. So, no more nerves going to nationals wondering if it's going to make it because it made it on my scale.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That's going to be real interesting if you go to nationals now and you have a hole.
And you have to get a weight hole.
Anybody who's worked in the pro shop knows hitting 3 ounces is impossible not to hit. So literally, I don't like saying stuff like this very much, but if you go to nationals and a ball fails because it's over 3 ounces, you need to find a new pro shop.
You need to find a new pro shop.
Seriously, because hitting 3 ounces is not difficult. 3 ounces, you're going to be able to do, it's going to give you more layout flexibility there's some layouts that you would have to put a weight hole in. So you would have to kind of factor that into everything. Now you don't have to worry about it. Now you got 3 ounces to play with. It's all good. I think probably, if I had to guess, this is just speculation, I would think that now top weights might start coming down a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit. Or maybe nothing above 3 ounces.
Yeah, because if you get up into the 4 range, right now we can fix that.
Right.
But in the future, something with a 4 ounce top weight is going to be really difficult to deal with. That's when you're going to start getting into the limitations.
I'm going to use this opportunity too to think that there's probably more to come. They're probably not done with these changes, and that's not to discern or get anybody on their toes, but they're trying their best to make it a more fair playing field. That's, I believe, their ultimate goal, and I believe they've stated that. So don't make such a big deal about it now because it really isn't going to make much of an effect. And then here pretty soon, new rules are going to come, and then that's probably going to have a bigger effect than what's already taking place. So
I think what they're doing right now is they're limiting the damage, so to speak. They're not making huge changes. So like I said in my video for it, by the time this is stuff manufacturers are going to have to worry about, pro shops are going to have to worry about, but once it all trickles down to you, you may think the weight hole thing is a big deal. You may think the cleaners thing might be a big deal, depending. We'll get into that in a minute. I need to read this press release so we can catch up on the questions.
Oh, yeah.
And get in
that
the press
release. Take a little while.
So that's going to take a while. So we're going to pause the questions here for a little bit. So don't post any more questions. We're going to catch up on the questions, and we're going to get in the press release, and we're going to break this thing down line by line, however far we need to break it down to make sure that it's all understandable. And we'll discuss the pros and cons of everything. But once it trickles down to you as the bowler, unless you're a really high-level bowler that used to use all of these different things, because they do kind of accumulate, and the little things are the differences the higher up you get. Once it trickles down to the average league bowler, you're not going to notice a difference, really. I don't think I'm going to
notice.
Yeah. I just really don't think it's going to come into it.
I believe.
How often do you go until you research your ball? That's really just cover stock condition. Some, like the places that we bowl in, aren't very hard on equipment, and so don't really have to worry about it. We might freshen up the cover every once in a while if we want to keep something.
Yeah, add surface to something if necessary, not you.
Yeah. I like polish.
But
I like lane shine. I don't really like polish. I like lane shine.
But, other than maybe adding a little bit of a little bit of surface here and there. I don't think I've actually resurfaced a bowling ball
I
other than plug.
if you plug other than plugging something, I can't remember actually resurfacing a ball. I can remember like, taking an Avalon pad to it every once in a while, but actually fully resurfacing a ball, I can't even remember.
I've seen some that definitely need it. If it's really tracked up and it's not really going to affect the roll a whole bunch, but if you just want to clean it up, that's a really good option for that.
Yeah, if you bowl places where it gets really beat up, at least keep it clean. But to do a full resurface, the cover's got to be pretty beat up. It's got to look pretty ugly. So.
Right.
Hey Ray, how's it going? Talked to Ray quite a bit. So.
Yep, idles out there.
Yep, everybody's using the idle.
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Jim, I really appreciate that. It was by far the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah. That was cool for me. I know a guy with PBA 300.
It was the craziest thing.
Flat put them all back in the 10th frame too.
I didn't have a choice. I couldn't miss my body. I didn't even know what was going on. After
feels like the first 300 all over again.
It was so much worse than the first one. It was so much worse than the first one.
Yeah,
and it's different when you've got these big name people that are surrounding you because nobody else shot a 300 that day or that weekend for that. They were tough, and I went 180, 300, 140. So they were absolutely tough. I just put 12 shots together. I bowled 4 or 5 of these regionals. I haven't really spent too much time with these guys or bowling this kind of stuff. So, coolest thing ever. I really appreciate the congrats to that.
Yeah. Next on my list, I might buy 2 of them. Yeah, I think that I was talking to somebody else about that, about drilling, buying 2 of them. I think it was James actually. Get 2 of them, let one lane polish, or let one lane shine, drill the other one differently, keep that up like box. I think you got a pretty good 1-2 punch there. No.
Especially if he gets a handful of games on it.
At my local pro shop, playing about to change while the average 170 owns 10 balls. We know people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, my wife kind of answered the question, but yeah, we're going the nationals thing. We're going for the Team Unity Award or whatever.
Right.
So,
yeah. We're trying to make a big deal out of our Hello Kitty team name and just kind of make something of it and hopefully get a pin in the process. And they look really, really spiffy. They're really cool.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Thank you, Brian, at Apparel Effects, because he designed them as far as I know, and got them out to us super quick. So these are really cool.
I mentioned before too that I like the logo jerseys too, but the logo jerseys, the material's a little bit heavier. It doesn't feel heavier, but it's a little thicker. It doesn't feel heavier.
You feel it when you're bowling.
Yeah, this stuff breathes a little bit better, and it's a little bit stretchier. Trying to get those logo shirts on and off is a little tricky because they're a little stiff. But I've got a couple of them. I still really like them.
Oh yeah.
So far, so good on these here.
Absolutely.
Pro Lane. Previous had Guardian. Play close to the same? Probably not. Pro Lane doesn't play anything like Guardian as far as wood and synthetic, especially. It depends on what. Well, I guess Pro Lane. Pro Lane and Avalanche is different. Pro Lane is the better one. Yeah. Pro Lane's the better one. And I really like it. Your reaction is going to be smoother than what it is on Guardian because Guardian's a softer material, so it increases the friction between the ball and the surface. Synthetic's a little bit harder surface, and so you're going to notice kind of what you see on a lot of the tour players, even the ones that really hit it, how smooth and really archy the ball reaction is. So it'll probably play wetter. It'll probably feel wetter. Sport shot, okay, got that. That's washing. Got the Sonic Grill, 8/16 ounce side weight for being illegal. 2.5 months using it weekly. It'd be illegal from the oil scene. Probably not. Oil doesn't weigh that much. So
and they use such a small amount per line.
Yeah, you would not even believe how small of an amount. You think that how much it takes to. I watched John in the back measuring out to make sure that the machine was. They got to test the machine every once in a while to make sure it's putting out the right amount of oil, and it's just a little
less than a syringe.
It's so tiny that it goes across the entire lane. It's really astounding. So I might have to actually get a picture of that or do a video on that. Get back there with him.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, get back there with him and see how little oil really goes.
Get a couple of test beakers or something.
Let's see. So no, I don't think you have anything to worry about. 16th of an ounce is an awful lot. So, yeah, it'll still be legal. Yeah, everything, man.
Everything's
Everything.
grandfathered. If it's as long as it's legal right now, it will be legal in
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't have a weight hole or an additional hole that you don't use for gripping.
Yeah. Even the 13 point whatever that Evanite's got on there.
Well, they got 14.2, I thought, or something like that. They have the 12.7 on the GBs. Currently, the same thing that came on the Matrix, but yeah, there's some pretty heavy duty covers out there.
Yes, I do laundry. I do laundry. I love being a housewife. And that's the funny thing is if somebody else would work and I could take care of the house and do all the cooking and cleaning, I'd be just fine with that. Oh, something else I mentioned in my podcast. We're gonna do there's a couple questions left. Answer those. Then we're gonna go to the press release on that thing. We're gonna talk through all that. But there is something that we put on YouTube now here because last time we did this thing, it was like 15 minutes. We got a little bit too involved on the questions like we're already doing here again. But there's something called Super Chat. So it's something, the little, if you go down there and there's a little $sign by the smiley face down at the bottom of the chat box there. And so if you have a question that you want answered right now or you think it's going to take us some extra time or you just want to throw some donations our way, the beer and the food was expensive, but I mean, it's
delicious.
Yeah,
that's the word. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Again, we get to sit here and talk at a camera and have people say really nice things about us and listen to us ramble forever, and we get to drink beer, and so it's really not terrible. But yeah, I'm fully seeing. Yeah.
Thanks, Angel.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the super chat thing at the bottom, you can donate a couple bucks. You can even maybe for the right price get some juicy information out of us. If you have a question that's
if you ever
controversial or really hard hitting.
If you've ever been to a dueling piano bar in your life, the more the donation is, the more motivation we'll have to get to it. So if you really want something answered or want, like you said, some juicy information or want our true opinion on something that may be bothering you, or click that dollar bill sign.
Yeah, just wanna throw us a few bucks just for the appreciation or whatever.
I'll take a couple of bucks for drinking this beer.
Yeah, get paid to drink beer. That's terrible. Okay, yep.
It's good.
Yeah. Yep, we're Bowling National July 1st and July 2nd. Actually get to meet Chad McClain.
Yeah,
I'm happy
his
about
crew
that.
will be there, yeah.
Dave Waslow that used to do the bowling show, he's going to be down there. Toby Contreras,
They got 20
teams. They're taking 20 teams down there.
Right.
And so I think Chad's got a superstar lineup. I heard something about Francois and maybe reigning Masters showmaking Alex Hoskins. That would be
entertaining. Well, Alex Hoskins already on the leaderboard. He shot 20-32.
Oh, yeah, he already went. That's right. Somebody went with Clonkin. Anyhow.
Probably.
Okay.
Can I have time off to travel with you, boss?
Yeah, I could have done with the cover stocks down back a little bit. Route 66 is kind of medium difficulty.
Yeah.
I kind of like it okay. But where we play at, everything plays a little bit easier.
Everything that's really hard is much easier than our house pattern sometimes.
Yeah.
But Route 66 plays well. Longer patterns play well on our center. So if it's 42 and beyond, it's going to play like a house pattern.
We got free hook there without saying any more than that. We got free hook. So, yes, Tracy, that's the last question we're going to get to, and then we're going to get to this. But yeah, max of 300 with handicap, that should be it. You shouldn't have 312 or something up there. It should be 300 is the only achievable is the highest achievable score. So as soon as you start letting handicap take it over that, it's got to go up to a max of 300. Any other way is just not. It's
I've
really
lost
not fair.
shooting a 300 game.
Yeah,
and I averaged 260 in a tournament, took third. Because of rules like that allowed them to go beyond 300. Knowing that I had the front nine and striking out the 10th to lose was aggravating.
Yeah.
I shot 300, which was really cool. But
all right, we're going to get to the press release. We're going to break this down. Let's see. There's a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Stay in the playing field. Of course, the next 2 seasons. Andrew Kane says, technology impacts every sport, but it's our role as the national governing body to ensure the skill of the competitors on the lanes remains a deciding factor. The research presented revealed the impact technology has made on the sports playing environment, and the committee.
Think you rolled over the wheel, did you?
No, there we go. Plot this up here. I probably didn't even really need that. Continue to analyze technology. Continue to push the boundaries, and we'll continue to analyze every aspect to make certain we're doing what's in the best interest of bowling and our members. The new oil absorption specification for bowling ball cover stocks will require that for a new ball to be approved, submitted ball samples cannot have a rate of oil absorption under 2 minutes and 15 seconds and must adhere to the 0.06 non-conformance rate. I think that's like a standard deviation. I thought that the number I heard on that was a little bit higher. The standard deviation is basically you run so many tests and you kind of get an average rather than I used to do a bunch of testing and you average a lot of numbers because sometimes you could have some outliers, you could have some flukes, you could have some stuff that just didn't, the procedure just didn't work right or something like that. So I think that's kind of what they're getting at there. Yeah. This is the one thing that we said earlier with the whole grandfathering situation that made it sound like everything made it sound like cover stock strength was going to get dialed back, and they released this on Tuesday, and then they had a media session later that night. Chad Murphy himself said that there's not a ball out there right now that absorbs oil faster than 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and the top end of the limit is 2 minutes 15 seconds. So not only is stuff not getting dialed back, but there's still some extra room for a little bit of growth. And I think the idea here is just to cap it so it doesn't continue getting further ahead.
Right, and if you watch the video that came out, they actually show a pretty decent graph of bowling and as far as its advancements, as far as cover stock technology, it absolutely just starts climbing. So if we continue at that rate, we could absolutely see that under 2 minutes, in a couple of years. And since their goal here that they stated is to keep the lane of play in play a little bit longer, they're just not going to allow bowling ball manufacturers to exceed that. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion of this, you'll see videos and you'll hear the rep in the background say something. It's been 2 years in the making. It's been 3 years in the making, working on different technologies. So I believe that's where the 2020 timeframe came into play as far as a lot of that, because it's giving those manufacturers a chance to correct if need be and continue on the same route.
I skipped a couple lines there too. Interesting. New specification has been established for the oil absorption rate of cover stocks. Just got that. And a specification to eliminate balance holes while increasing static weight allowances to make up for that have also been approved. In addition, new rules will be put in place to allow only a dry towel to be used to clean bowling balls during competition and to keep bowlers from changing the static weight of bowling balls during competition, which that's a new one on me. I've never ever thought of in the middle of while you're bowling going and drilling a hole deeper to change ball reaction.
No, I've never seen that, and the fact that they've seen that is impressive.
Yeah.
Because that would be like the only people in the world I wouldn't want to see that.
That's pretty gnarly.
But yeah, never seen that. Not a fan of this dry towel thing.
Yeah, the biggest question there is there's some stuff. I know that Ron Hickman's enterprise creating the difference or whatever. He has a lot of products that are designed to be used during competition to either make the ball tackier or to make it hook less or to whatever, to kind of manipulate ball reaction during the set. And when they said there's already a rule against changing the surface, and so anything that changes the ball reaction during the set is something they're trying to get rid of. But again, it's kind of what if somebody has a belt mark or something like that, and they've was talking to one of the Jerry Kesslers this morning that said that interesting. But hashtag not going to get into that.
Hashtag I might if you pay for it.
Mm-hmm. Actually, hashtag super chat.
Yep.
But he said in the past, if you've taken a ball up to a tournament director, then they will take water and just...
No, that was just this last sectionals that they had.
Yeah.
So
put some elbow into it and get the marks off, which could smooth out the surface of the ball. I mean...
It absolutely would.
Water is a great lubricant, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that if you take a chamois and you've got a ball with 1,000 surface that you just freshly laid out on a spinner, so it's even, it's smooth, and you rub on that for a little while with a dry towel and just simulate the amount of pressure you'd have to use for a ball mark or a belt mark, it's going to change the surface by itself. Maybe not very fast, but it's going to.
Well, this is the same thing as when you're doing Avalon. There's a big difference between a wet 2000 pad and a dry 2000 pad.
Mm-hmm.
Huge difference.
Big time. So that rule is a little unclear to me, and I'd like to have some additional information on that, because my biggest concern in this one scenario would be you've got front 8, front 9, front 6, 7. Who cares? You know, you're on a great game, or maybe now you've got 580 at the turn, front 5. You know, something where you can legitimately put up a life-changing number, and you get a ball mark, you know, just during lead, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be your handful of people that are like, hey, can't wipe it off, you know, if it's got anything on it.
Yeah.
Is it out of play?
Yeah.
So
it's technically a foreign substance on the bowling ball. I mean, if Tom Smallwood can't throw a ball with shaving cream on
after a celebration of winning.
Yeah. Then I don't even know.
So that needs a little bit more clarification to me.
So we got through all that. Then they're just talking about technology continuing to grow, and they want to make sure that they actually keep up with it this time, because there was something way back when they allowed reactive balls in the first place.
Well, they should have started a process like this. They should have set caps then.
They just got too far behind the 8 ball, and technology went faster than they could, than they kept up with it. I don't know about. They probably could have kept up with it a little bit better if they'd stayed on top of it a little bit better, but that's water under the bridge now. So we got through that.
No water.
Yeah.
Can't use anything. It's got to be dry.
Foreign substance, dry towel. I will say that the chamois are really good for. I've gotten some belt marks and stuff before.
Oh, yeah.
I don't carry around ball cleaner, so you just get to scrub, and the chamois are really great at taking that stuff off anyway. So if that.
Yep. You might want a second chamois, because if you get one that's covered in belt mark, you want a clean one to wipe the oil off. But
so you don't keep wiping belt mark all over the rest of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the initial step of the oil absorption specification will begin on August 1st, 2018. So that's this year. So that's a couple months. When bowling ball manufacturers are required to submit oil absorption data as part of the USBC bowling ball approval process. So the manufacturers are going to have to test this stuff internally, and then when they send however many balls they send to USBC for testing and approval, then they're going to have to send the oil absorption test results to them. I'm sure that USBC is still going to do some QC on that.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
I imagine it's going to be like cashing at a regional. They're going to go random.
Yeah.
You know, every 1, 5, 7, 12 today, and that's.
And it's going to be something to where they know the manufacturer sending the numbers in. They're going to know what kind of ballpark or what kind of neighborhood they're in.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Manufacturers then provided a standard operating procedure to determine the oil absorption rate. So they have standardized tests. USBC has yet let everybody know about that. So the specification requiring a bowling ball's oil absorption rate to be more than 2 minutes 15 seconds for the ball to be approved will take effect August 1st, 2020. So even though they're going to start sending stuff in this August, it's not going to be until August 1st that it's all going to take effect. But once again, we said that nothing on the market right now fails the test. So as long as they don't,
really try something
as
crazy.
As long as they don't, get into any kind of nonsense, they ought to be all right. So, and this is the part I don't get. Also, any ball models tested where the average oil absorption rate is under 9 minutes and 30 seconds will require additional balls to be tested. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, that's got to be plastic, urethane, stuff like that. I think that I even saw one that took like 2 hours and 20 minutes for the oil to get soaked in, and so I don't even know what they'd be going for with that. But
yeah, why set a minimum?
I don't. That's something I'd have to talk to somebody that knows what they're doing on that one. I don't know. And here's the big one that everybody seems to be complaining about, because now that the oil absorption thing, and everybody thought cover stocks were raining back, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, nothing fails, and it's like, oh, never mind.
Right. So it's almost kind of a contradicting statement, because there's really, other than just preparing ball manufacturers down the road, in my mind, they could have just sent them an email.
Yeah, I think
and not have to put it out in the public, and then just say, hey, if that ever came up, this was our number. I'm not making bowling balls. I don't care what that absorption rate is. Yeah,
I think the grandfathering thing really tripped a lot of people up. And I thought that they were ran stuff in, because, why would you have to grandfather something that's not out of spec? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Specification eliminating the use of balance holes will go into effect August 1st, 2020. So we got 2 years and change here. So
Plenty of time.
Balance holes, also known as weight holes, are meant to correct static imbalance in bowling balls. That's originally what they started out in, is they had that 1 ounce static weight limit. You could have 3 ounces of top weight, 3 ounces of bottom weight, but side to side, finger, thumb, you could only have 1 ounce. And so originally balance holes were just to balance the ball. That's just, but more recently they've been used to change the design intent of balls. So by allowing bowling balls for balls weighing more than 10 pounds to have up to 3 ounces of static side, thumb, and finger weight, which is up from the 1 ounce what it used to be, and up to 3 ounces of top weight, which is no change there. There no longer will be the need for a balance hole to correct static imbalance in the typical ball layout. So basically what they're doing here is, because balance holes have become used for something other than the original intent, they want to kind of eliminate them. I think that this is the one that people are going the craziest about, which is kind of like the smallest deal to me, but I understand that a lot of people like to get into the tech side of stuff and think that some things matter a lot more than they really do, and this is where we're going to get into it. The video that they have on their YouTube channel is really great. This is on bowl.com, by the way. It's right there in the front banner if you want to kind of follow along or read it for yourself. But if you go onto their YouTube channel, the video covers a lot better, I think. And they got a lot of graphs, they got a lot of pictures, they got some.
It's much easier to understand.
Yeah, it's a really good video. But they showed something to where, again, I was talking to somebody earlier and said, well, you know, now that you can't have a drill a thumb hole deeper is not going to get you from an 050 diff to an 070 like a double thumb will. And he's right. But they also showed something on that video. Once you get north of an 050 diff, which is basically the bigger the differential, the more kind of imbalance you have in the core, which means that the ball is going to flare more. So the oil rings on the ball get further and further apart. And the further apart those get, the more fresh cover is exposed to the ball on every revolution, the more traction it can get, especially on the back end.
The more oil that it can absorb.
Yeah.
Because now more fresh balls.
More oil it can pick up, more oil it can absorb.
Breaking down line patterns and that sort of thing.
But as far as actual effect on reaction, they have a chart on there that shows that once you get up north of an 050 diff, everything kind of levels off. So you go up to 060, 070, 080, and nothing really changes, because once you've got that much separation of the oil rings, of the flare lines, it doesn't matter. You get a little bit more and you make the bow tie maybe a 1/16 of an inch shorter. And it's just, you're getting into stuff where the standard deviation of human accuracy comes into play, and there's just no way that humans are accurate enough or good enough to be able to take advantage of such small differences. So once you get north of their kind of differential line at 060 anyway, you're not going to see much of a difference. It just doesn't matter. So even though you say you only get stuff up to 060 or 065 now, but using something like the Code Red that's got an 058, you can conceivably get that up to 065, maybe 070 with a deeper thumb, but you're not gaining anything.
I don't know. That's still,
the math says you're not gaining anything.
Right. The research says that. I mean, math and research.
Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing I'd like to point out, I think, at this time is these guys are putting in time to figure all this out. They're not throwing one ball down the lane and using one ball. They're putting hundreds of hours in. And how many hours, I'm not going to be able to tell you that, but lots and lots and lots of hours and time, and then equipment to measure all of this, and all they're trying to do is regulate it to be fair. You know, so say what you want about who's in charge or who may have called this to be at a vote, but, you know, just because it's late doesn't mean it's bad. It's just late, so it may be a bit of a nuisance, but I sincerely believe that they are trying to better the sport. There's going to be those that disagree. Cool. Fight me about it. But for those that are making a big stink about all of this or pieces of this and blowing it out of proportion, as 2020 arrives, I think we're all going to see that it really doesn't make that big a difference. Other than $10 or $15 to plug a hole, you know, per ball if need be, you know, and they gave 2.5 years to do that. So if you can't find time or the money to plug one ball, one hole, you should be blowing league anyway.
And there's a lot of people that have also mentioned, well, I'll read this next line and we'll get to it. The specification increases in static weights takes effect January 1st, 2020, which will allow the bowlers the opportunity to plug balance holes prior to the elimination of balance holes starting August 1st, 2020. So again, do not plug anything now because likely the hole is there in the first place. If you do it now, it's going to be illegal up until 2020, and if you go to nationals, you're going to get dinged on it. Put it right back.
They're going to put it right back. Well, or maybe in a different spot.
Yeah.
Where they feel necessary. I've seen them put holes in some weird places. So yeah, he's completely right. Don't plug anything right now.
Yeah. Wait until January 1st, 2020 before you even need to worry about that, and then you've got 7 months to do it.
Right.
I have a lot of people saying, well, I've got stuff I've been using for 20 years. I've got a Tie Boss, or I've got a
Red Pulse.
I've got a Red Pulse. So gonna need a weight hole plug, but balls weren't nearly as reactive back then, so I don't think that you're going to see. I mean, 3D. I still see a lot of people throwing 3D offsets.
There's a lot of them, yeah.
That are going to need a weight hole, but you're not going to see a difference because they don't hook that much anyway. Again, the stronger the ball gets, the more of a difference you're going to notice. But you're not going to. If you take a Hustle Ink and put a weight hole in that and plug it, you're literally not going to notice the difference. Because again, the hole doesn't actually do anything. What you're doing is you're drilling the hole to take out core material to change the shape of the core, which changes the dynamics of the core. And so once you already have that hole drilled out, if you fill it back up with material, yeah, you're putting material back in there, but it's of a different density. Plug material isn't near as dense as core material, if memory serves me right here.
I believe that's true.
So you're probably going to notice some kind of a difference, but that can be circumvented with next time you drill a ball, get one with a stronger core.
Yep.
That's an option. Whatever else, you can drill the thumb hole deeper, which is going to help a little bit. It's not going to be the same as double thumb layout, obviously. I understand that.
Yeah, because you can only go so deep per press.
Yeah.
But it's you can manipulate that an inch maybe.
Yeah.
But unless you're talking something that's over, what did Kessler tell me today? 29, 30 seconds at 1.5 inches is a half side. So, I mean, you're talking, unless you're drilling a big, big thumb hole, you're not going to see much.
It's not going to be much of a difference, and it can be circumvented so many different ways. You can add more surface, get a stronger ball, stronger core, stronger cover stock, and then like we said in the first place, once you get above 050, everything kind of plateaus. It doesn't really matter after that. So more flare is, so what if you have an inch separation or an 1 1/8, 1 1/4 separation? It's not going to matter because the bow ties are going to be the same size anyway. So.
Yep.
Change allowing only dry towel to clean bowling balls during competition becomes effective August 1st, 2019. It eliminates the use of liquid cleaners of any kind during competition, which aligns with other changes to ensure equipment's not manipulated during competition. That's kind of what they're getting at, is they don't want anything. You can't change your ball reaction, or you can't change the ball surface during competition. That's just what they're getting to. I'm sure that they will have a press release or an adjustment addressing the ball marks and stuff like that. So again, this is 2 years off, so I really wouldn't worry about it too much. Yeah, I mean, this is one year.
I would also challenge you to just take a look around league now. I mean, those of you especially that bowl in houses that may not be upkept quite as well, that are constantly leaving these belt burns, or even when it just happens. Let's see how often you actually see ball cleaner during competition.
Don't ever see it.
I can't remember a time that I've seen it or use it, and I do carry it, but I don't use it ever. Now, I have gone in between per rules and added surface if necessary or whatever, but it still abides by the rules.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, the set of qualifying or this match play or that match play, whatever have you. But look at that, because, you're going to have those few that do it religiously, but it's not going to affect a lot of people. But if you believe it is, or even have an issue with it, just look around a little bit and just make that effort to just look and see. But I imagine you're gonna see that it's not very common.
Yeah. All right, so that becomes effective August 1st, 2019. So we've got a year and change on that. So it's just dry towel, and I think people got a little crazy about they heard towel and they thought, well, what about our chamois?
What about the chamois?
If it's dry, it's gonna be fine. If it's dry and used to wipe off a ball, you could use a sheepdog to wipe the ball off with, as long as the sheepdog is dry, and you'll be fine.
Your chamois.
Yeah.
My chamois.
Mm-hmm. All right. Change prohibiting a bowler from adjusting static weight during competition by drilling grip holes deeper goes into effect August 1st, 2020, when the balance hole rule goes into effect. It's important for bowlers to understand the specification for oil absorption will not eliminate any bowling balls from competition, as all current balls will be grandfathered in, which they shouldn't have used grandfathered since nothing fails. But they did kind of have to address it to make, they had to say something to let everybody know, well, don't worry about it. You're not going to have to go out and buy a whole new arsenal or whatever.
Right.
If you're using it now, it's going to be good until it cracks or you get tired of using it. And you're probably going to be done. Most people, there's going to be the outlier, like people saying, well, I use a 20-year-old Triton Heat or whatever.
Right.
That, that are still going to be using their old stuff. But for most people who are kind of active or kind of engaged in it, I might be using an idle and an ink. You'd probably still be using a GB3, maybe.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be a few of those.
Or at least there'll be a couple new ones sitting back there in boxes.
Just like it.
Man, I'm ready to drill these up, and then it just never really happens like it does for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Some sits around for 10 years. It's like, oh, I might sell this. I haven't.
I wonder if I can get $800 on Facebook Trader for one of these.
Good idea in theory, but you're never going to put holes in it. Never going to do it. All right, bowlers should also be aware that because the increase in static weight starts January 1st, 2020, they will have 7 months to have any balance hole plugs. They will be in compliance with the specification. Eliminating balance holes starts August 1st, 2020. This is something that I'm not going to go too far out of my way to. There's still people throwing illegal jackals, and the amount that they're illegal is the thickness of a sheet of paper. So, again, it does not matter. So if you see somebody throwing a ball with a weight hole, probably point it out, at least tell them they passed a rule, this is illegal, you need to go check with the pro shop, maybe get this plugged so that you don't get somewhere and somebody makes a really big deal out of it.
Yeah, I can unfortunately I can see a lot of bad conversations coming from this. For instance,
the rest of it's kind of blah blah.
Right, just
dang, Lance.
All right, Lance.
Heck yeah, we're getting to Lance. Okay, we're going to show that from James. Man, Lance is my buddy. Thanks, Lance. Appreciate that. I'm going to have to see where your surface ball, I'm going to have to get it back up to the top of it. Actually, we said we're going to do this. They should just make everyone use high roads. Yep, we're going to go straight to you. You sent us money, so.
We're going to have to send it back because I don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah, James, accurate. Yep. Hashtag accurate. High road pearls. Man, if they made the high road nano is good. It's a little strong, a little angular. High road solid wasn't great. If they made like a polished, well, actually, I'd probably just polish the nano.
Just polish it.
Mirror shine on the nano, and that'd probably be awesome. But
put a weight hole on it.
If they made a solid high road that acted like a high road pearl, yeah. Thanks, Lance. We appreciate it.
That's huge. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Get back up to the Dave, well, there was one. I think we missed that. What's one rule you think USBC should add?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The funny thing is the stuff that's coming to my mind is rules that they already have that people just ignore.
Right. Yeah.
The easy slide thing is the easiest thing to look at.
Or just the incompetence to not understand.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I'm gonna think about that for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get back to that question because that's something we're gonna have to think on for a second. We kind of want to catch up here, but that's a
great question.
That is a very good question. Yeah, we'll either be at the bowling stadium or Buffalo Wild Wings. We're gonna spend a lot of time at the stadium. That's about the whole Nationals thing. I'm really salty about no more live stream. At the same time, I can get a read on stuff. Like the video that they posted, the guy that shot 800 in singles. He was like 5 minutes long. I got all the information I need to know.
Right. They play tight.
Yeah. They play tight.
Throw strong balls.
Looks really smooth. So cool. Now, talk about that. Should we get more practice time at Nationals after sitting for an hour on those hard metal chairs? And then they say we're still waiting for the lanes to be dressed. You just need to do some jumping jacks or some nonsense. Just
watch Norm Duke a couple of times in some of the older shows.
Oh, man.
Watch him do some jump squats.
Run around, do some stuff. Speaking of Nationals, we're getting one of the, since I can't take my stuff and stream anything, what we're gonna do is you get there and you can buy a video of your performance or whatever. But if you go back and look at some stuff from last year, I know that Jeff Riggles posted his team's bowling, Buddy's Pro Shop guys, Chris Forey and them uploaded theirs. So after the tournament's over, if you got the video at the stadium, you can go on ahead and upload it and see what it looks like. So that's what I'm going to do, especially since we're so close to the end of the tournament. It won't be very long at all. So we're going to I'm going to do the video of us bowling down there, and you guys will get to see that. So
Yep.
That'll be pretty cool. Thatcher, sorry, two-handers only be two-handers. You can only drill, and we had something with John Baton, the guy that helped us
with our two-handed video.
Our two-handed video. There was one ball that I drilled for him. I drilled him a fight where we just put the two fingers in there because you only have to have as many holes. You don't have to have 3 holes in a bowling ball. And
right.
he got some people saying, well, there's only 2 holes in that ball, and that's probably illegal. No, I waited. We took care of all of that nonsense to begin with. I don't think that ball had a whole lot of top weight, so I just went a little bit deeper with the fingers. Worked just fine. There's only 2 fingers. You only need. Now there's a rule saying that you could only have. I think that was something I missed on the. You can have up to 5 fingers, but every single hole that's in the ball, you have to.
Have a finger in it.
It has to be a gripping hole. You have to have a finger in it. And some people have said it's kind of interesting. Well, if you're two-handed, you could drill a couple more balls or a couple more holes
on the bottom.
A la Nick Smith, Brunsnick on his video.
Hashtag Brunsnick.
Traditionalist Nightmare. That's a hilarious video that you got to go check out. I think it's called the Traditionalist Worst Nightmare.
Worst Nightmare, yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually freaking hilarious. But I mean, if somebody wants to lawyer up and say, well, I've got 2 hands, I've got 2 more holes on the bottom here, then they're gripping holes, and there's not more. I got 2 up here and I got 2 down here. That's only specify. The picture shows 1 hand, but didn't really specify. Just said they had to all be gripping holes. So.
And the point I would make to that is, two-handers most of the time don't use thumb because the thumb will actually limit their rotation. The faster your thumb comes out of the ball, the higher the rev rate can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you're going to take this idea and do this, remember that is going to slow down your rev rate. And I would hate Yeah.
I'll be all right.
But I just want to point out that that's not going to work out very easily. I mean, the guys like Jesper that put that hand all the way over the top of the ball.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if he had to bring his hand all the way back because there were holes in it?
Yeah.
I mean, even Belmonte, who doesn't have quite the same swing length as Jesper, still absolutely horrifying to think what could happen to your fingers.
Yeah, so
don't do it.
Ernesto, my buddy Ernesto, just arriving. Is there a rule on what material must be used with a typical plug? I don't think that they have a rule. I think that that's one of those. Generally, when you say a hole's going to be plugged, use ball plug.
Ball plug.
So they've not explicitly stated, but I think that they could. It would be something that would stand up in court. Even if a lawyer would say, well, they didn't specify, it's one of those kind of read between the lines, generally understood.
They're going to go get a pro shop specialist for that, and they're going to tell you no way that anything else would work. Plus, if you're doing it by yourself, you don't have the way to cut it down more than likely, to smooth it out more than likely. You can tell. Mm-hmm. The air bubbles, you're going to have pores the size bigger than zits in this thing. They will know.
Which one did you want?
Oh, yeah, the milkshake.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, you're pouring it wrong?
It's okay.
John Taffer.
No, it looks like...
John Taffer would be heckin' pissed.
I'm going to drink it.
Yeah.
Don't. You're going to have no choice but to drink it. I love it. Thank you.
I don't care.
Thank you for bringing us beer, sweetie.
Yeah. I don't care.
Thanks for your
I'm
presence.
busy cleaning up after y'all eating that I made.
Well, I didn't think
so.
so.
Standing.
Callum, I hope I'm pronouncing that, Callum Thatcher. Don't they just mean you can't sand your ball like instead of a towel? Well, that would be hilarious. If you affixed some sandpaper, that would be actually hilarious. But yeah, there's already rules against sanding, polishing, whatever else. So yeah, most people who buy it, I know that this question's way old, but okay. Most people who buy a ball today will not be using it in 2 years. That's kind of my argument anyway. Most people that go through bowling balls, most of us get a couple, even people that aren't on, and sometimes even the staff stuff gets a little old going through so many balls because you have some that love to keep throwing, and there's no good reason for you to take them out of the bag other than you just got new stuff to throw.
Right, yeah.
So, but even most people buy a couple balls a year, so you're probably, there's a very small percentage of people. I realize that there are people out there, for those of you who are going to have to pay money to get balance holes plugged. It really sucks. I imagine there's a lot of pro shops already said they're going to do it for free, which I don't really agree with. It's
Absolutely
not the pro shop's fault to have to give away.
And
it'd be like you going to work for free for a couple days because your company took a big hit or something like that. It's not your fault. Well, sorry, but we're just not going to pay you today. You're just going to have to work for free. Doesn't really work for pro shops either, who already work on small margins, and I imagine a lot of pro shops will have deals on them, which I think is fair.
I think it's completely fair.
50-50 split between pro shop and the customer. Everybody's kind of helping everybody out. So
yeah, and I mean I've recently, I don't drill very many balls with weight holes in them unless somebody's asking for something extremely specific or myself. Most customers, like I said, unless they're asking for something like that, I'm not doing that. But I have recently had some asymmetrics that required them just due to the current static weight limits.
Watch the cords, puppy dogs. Walk over.
But we won't see much of an effect right here. But when we drilled them, they were within static weight limits because somebody wanted something different, or we were required to do so because of the CG or whatever the case may be.
And other questions I've heard asked is, are weight holes grandfathered? I think we answer that absolutely not, because you can't tell when somebody drilled a weight hole, so there's no way to, there's no way to even keep track of that. So they're just, balance holes are just gone, period. August 1st, 2020. Yeah.
Don't mess with it. That's just the way it is.
I think guys have to start letting these people know the rules and drill without weight holes. I would say that it would probably, from here on out, just use layouts that don't try to get balls with lower top weight, because that's gonna get a ball again. If you get a ball with 4 ounces of top weight, it's gonna, if you get the CG too far one way or the other, you're gonna have nightmares. So if you get something around 2 to 3 ounces, between 2 and 3 ounces, it's gonna help you out a lot on your layout flexibility.
And that's also the manufacturer's goal is to be right at that 3 ounce mark. So that's most of the time what you're gonna see: 3, 3 1/4, 3 1/2. And you're probably not ever going to see too far beyond that, but there are a few that sneak through.
Yeah, I would say you can start getting on that now, but again, it has to be under 1 ounce. Everything has to be under 1 ounce. That's the top weight, which has always been 3 ounces. It's going to stay 3 ounces. The static weights from side to side and finger and thumb, they still have to be under 1 ounce. So I usually go a little bit deeper with my typical layout puts the CG out a couple inches, and I usually just go deeper with my ring finger to kill a little bit, which also decreases the differential a little bit too, because I don't need stuff blinging super crazy on the back end. So it's kind of a 2 birds with 1 stone type deal. James, thanks for posting that video. It's a really good video. Again, this is going to be archived, so if you want to pause it right now, or if you want to finish watching us and then go, we'll probably go for another hour or so. The Fedor and Mir fight is on later. 2 guys that are way over the hill and in Bellator. That's kind of how you know that. Like, it's hilarious that everybody that's in Bellator now used to be MMA superstars like 10 years ago. So we're gonna watch some old guys fight later. So we'll probably cut it off about 9. But Lance, back to you again. They should just make everyone use high roads. Yep, that would be tragic.
I can drill one of those illegal too.
Storm Pitch Black or Rotogrip Hot Cell for sport stuff would be the more controllable of the two. I think universally everybody kind of favors the Pitch Black. The Hot Cell is a lot of early and a lot of smooth, and so how early it is kind of forces you left, and then it urethanes.
Right.
So it's some angle issues. I think for a lefty, a Hot Cell would look a lot better. I've seen Jesper throw it a couple times, but it's a lot rollier than the Pitch Black. Pitch Black kind of has some back end.
Ironically, when I bowled at regional, Kevin Williams showed up and he had two tournament bags, and they were strictly 3 pitch blues and 3 hot cells. He didn't even have a pitch black.
Interesting.
From what I could see, just standing above his bag.
I could see him throwing those because they're a lot rollier than the pitch black.
Right. So it's just going to kind of boil down to your roll, your axis rotation, a lot of those details that come out. But for the most part, I'd agree that pitch black has definitely been the most popular choice.
Shot. Whoops. Yeah. Gotcha covered. 2 Marble Pearl stashed. I actually had one stashed. I kind of go back and forth. It depends on how I'm throwing it. When I'm throwing it really good, I like stuff like that. When I'm not throwing it good, I want all the back end I get.
Right.
All right. What do you say for all the people who don't use thumb holes on all shots? Should there be a thumb hole allowed in the standard usable spot? If you don't use the hole on every single shot, so that's unfortunately. I think that you were the one that posted something on one of the videos where I don't like carrying an extra. I don't like carrying a spare ball because it's a waste of the spot bag to me. But two-handers are gonna have to do. If you use your thumb and you go one-handed to pick up spares, you're gonna have to.
The Tom Dohertys of the world that drill a thumb hole and everything because he can.
Yeah, they won't care. It might be one of those things, get you one of them ball buffers and then just kind of sling that around your arm or whatever. So it's usually take 6 of them, take 7 of them. It's annoying, but
yeah,
it's not gonna be terrible. So
right.
No interior voids allowed, so you can't plug with a thumb slug. Yeah, so can't do that. Probably a hardness test that could be used. Everything kind of meets the hardness. I mean, the hardness has come down a little bit. Stuff is getting softer, and the softer something is, it gives it a wider footprint, so to speak, and increases friction. They used to do the hardness test thing, but back when they used to do the hardness test, they used to do crazy stuff. Like they'd soak a ball in acetone, and it would be one of those things where you could like push your finger into it or something, where it would get stupid soft. So we're not
LT48 soft.
Yeah, we're not talking about 73 to 75 on the durometer scale. We're talking marshmallow.
0.
Heckin' marshmallow. So plugging weight hole changed the motion of the ball. It shouldn't change. Wow, we're all the way down the bottom.
Yeah.
Change the motion of the ball. Theoretically, a little bit. The stronger that the ball is, the more it's going to matter. But once you drill the hole out, once you change the shape of the core, you're not going to, when you go to plug it, you're not going to restore the dynamics of that core. You've already changed it, but it will be adding some material back. So it will change a little bit, but I don't think everybody's acting like it's this monumental thing, and that plugging a weight hole is going to completely change the reaction of the ball. I just don't buy into that.
And for the adjustment that you would make for it, I wouldn't adjust at all at first. I would just go with it. Now, you're not going to go throw one shot and then plug it, in 10 minutes and then get back out there the correct way. But I don't think you're going to see enough that you'll even really notice a humongous change.
Yeah, and the other thing, like you said down here, is USBC thinks a motion holes were 2 boards. 2 boards.
Maybe. That's what they believe.
It's not that much. So.
And 2 boards is the difference of a strike 10 back and a messenger 10.
Yeah, right. We've seen that Walter Ray's using 2 hands now. It's actually kind of hilarious. Oh, damn. What the hell's going on with this nonsense here? James Niffen. We're going to go to that right away.
All right, James.
Yeah, Luke's talked about, thanks again, by the way, James. That's freaking awesome. Luke's talked about what's in his arsenal. Anthony, what are you rolling with right now? Loving the Q&A format. Keep it up. Definitely. I talked to James a lot on Discord server, which we've got a private one for my Patreon thing, and we talk quite a bit in there. It's a lot of fun. So, what you go with? That Rebel Yell is that.
The Rebel Yell goes everywhere. Fierce Phobia is a new one that's going with me everywhere. Rodman Pearl goes everywhere, and that's including house shot tournaments.
That was pretty impressive.
That is the 3 balls that are going for sure. However,
Rodman Pearl kind of reminds me of the Hypershell fused a little bit.
Yeah,
is it symmetric race?
It's symmetric.
It's symmetric, so it's a little bit tamer kind of, but it's got that aggressive.
It helps me circle the lane when the lane must be circled. That ball is for sure staple. But the Rip Solid has been one that's been. It started off really high, but there's another staircase. That ball will absolutely travel no matter where I go, and I'll drill multiple of those. But I also have the Rip Solid goes. The GB3 is a monster. I'll definitely have a couple of those, and that'll go. What else do I have in there? I've got a purple urethane, Black Widow urethane, and I really like the Black Widow urethane.
Yeah.
That thing is a 1-2 punch of I can beat you on a house pattern with it and piss you off.
That is crazy.
So that ball is actually a lot of fun to play with.
Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate it.
And I just got a couple of Sideswipe solids, so that was one of my all-time favorites. I can't wait to put holes in one of those because that ball was my house shot killer. That was for sure one that I wish I'd have kept around, and now that they're discontinued, they're much harder to find. Thank you, James Grant.
Just here so I don't get fined? What's that all about?
They're probably making a rule to find people who don't watch our channel now. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, another question from James here below that we're going to answer because he got a lot of, that's a lot of time. What's the Rebel Yell equivalent in the Storm Roto line? It's almost Sonic-like. No, it's matchup high. It's a stronger matchup hybrid. It's got that same shape
with a little more length, I think.
It's very clean. The back end's very defined. It's it's extremely readable.
Yeah. The even the colors being kind of offset and not the way I have a big yellow spot in mine that I don't really like seeing go down the lane. But even with that, it's still really predictable for me by the color. But I think it kind of fits perfectly for the Storm line, like right in between a Hustle Ink and like on the real low side of a Sonic.
The Sonic's chuggier.
Yeah.
It's definitely longer than the Sonic. It's got some reaction characteristics.
Yeah. It's but yeah, that's probably about what I would say based off. And the really cool thing about us is he gets to see all my motions, so he could answer that question pretty clear, and I get to see all his motions, all this new stuff. So the amount of information we give each other just by bowling together is pretty unreal. So
yeah, Ryan Ford, thanks a bunch, buddy. Thanks for the help with my mental game and for everything else you do. Thank you. Well, it's greatly appreciated.
Oh yeah.
Anybody that's in bowling knows that it's one of those things where you put more into it than you'll ever really get back out of it. Kind of. It's not. It's one of those things that it rewards you in different ways. There's a lot of time and a lot of money that goes into it. The rewards are more intangible. Stuff like this that really is.
Like guys like me with a birdie in golf.
Yeah.
Right. It's just. You feel it a little bit.
The support, so it's awesome. I'm speechless. So that's how awesome it is. So it's
That's really cool.
Immensely appreciated.
So we were just below him, by the way.
Yeah. So I think there was. We'll get to that one.
No, we're below the 20.
Yeah. So we got to that one. The Marble Pearls. People who don't use the thumb hole. Spare ball. We got to that one. No interior voids. Walter Ray. Walter Ray's using two hands now. That's kind of interesting.
Including today. He did it today. Saw it happen, and it blew their minds when he did. Oh, Walter Ray's using two hands.
Chocolate or vanilla frosty? Choose your answer wisely. I'm gonna have to go straight for chocolate.
Chocolate, no doubt. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever had the vanilla one, but I put chicken nuggets, French fries, everything in that chocolate one. I don't care.
Yeah, like actually, I don't go for nonsense like that much, but that chocolate frosty from Wendy's is. I'm telling
That's
you,
the most versatile ball on the planet.
Man. The chocolate. I mean, those frosties are better than their Twitter burns on McDonald's. I mean, the frosty, man.
If you get a chance to watch the Wendy's Twitter
replies
are fantastic.
Dude,
watch it.
Body Armor is getting into Gatorade pretty good. That's kind of hilarious. Latest on Westridge's purchase of Gauge Center. They're just waiting on bank stuff. They're just everything takes so long, and they want to see this and they want to see that and they want to see all kinds of stuff. So it's just the legal process of getting through. It's like buying a freaking house. I mean,
worse.
They've only been it's just so much worse because there's a lot of money on the line. It's not $100,000. It's a couple $1 million. So I imagine
it's in the same state it's been since the day people started hearing about it.
On that, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, so hopefully as long as everything will. They've only been at it for a couple months, so it'll just take forever to kind of trickle down and got to that one. Phase 2, it sucks on heavy oils, also for dry lanes. Have it drilled strong. Why does it do this? Drilling it strong, the stronger you drill it, the ball's only going to hook so much. So if you have a ball that starts to hook up earlier, it's going to be smoother on the back end because it's like it's the tire thing. This will take a second, but snow tires have big, divots and channels and whatever else in them to allow the treads to allow the snow to go up in there, or so that the treads can actually kind of contact the road surface better. Mm-hmm. But if you put snow tires on a stock car, there's a lot less surface area. The snow tires don't have near as much surface area as racing slicks do. So if you put racing slicks on asphalt, sucker's going to take off and go nuts, which is why the polished, weaker balls don't do anything on oil because they don't have any traction, anything to get through it. So they go all the way down there and they turn sideways. But stronger balls, especially if you put stronger layouts on, they're going to react earlier and they're going to be smoother because the more aggressive the cover stock is, when it hits the back end of the lane, it's not going to have near as much. It's going to have kind of similar surface area in contact with the dry as it do with oil because you've got all these peaks and valleys microscopically that you've got all this stuff that's kind of contacting the lane throughout the lane. And so visible hook is different from actual hook. Mm-hmm. Just because a ball does all of what it's going to do down at the back end doesn't mean it's hooking more than a ball that is like a no rules exist versus a hustle link. If you take it on a house shot, a hustle link's going to look like it hooks more than no rules exist until you get on oil. You get on actual oil, the hustle link's going to go 60 feet, and that no rules exist is actually going to, the oil's actually going to help it get down the lane so it's got a more aggressive motion on the back end. So
you get a chance and you're subscribe to Extra Frame, especially if you're already a subscriber. Go and look today at the women's qualifying today. And watch the Sherlocks going down the lane and the GB3s and the Idols going down the lane, that you can tell where the end of the pattern is because it's such a sharp motion off of that back end, including Sherlocks and including Rip Solids and Lits, all these balls that typically smooth out the back end. That's just them chewing and grinding until they get to the friction, and then when it hits that friction, it's already turned sideways, ready to go. Mm-hmm. So that's a real good example.
Like he was watching Stuart Williams on Extra Frame throwing a Codex, didn't have any idea it was a Codex because it was turning sideways. And on regular league patterns, it just doesn't do that. It's the other thing with the Intensive. A lot of people have said, well, it's just a puke monster. That thing needs a lot of oil.
Yeah.
Mine looked pretty good.
Right.
But it needs a crap load of oil. The other house in Lawrence is drier. I can't use it there. It just pukes all over the place.
Right. It's so burned up by 45 feet.
Of oil.
Yep.
So, all right. For any piece that's not from your endorsed company, what would it be if you don't mind saying? I don't mind saying. I'd throw a GB3.
And mine would definitely be an Idol.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I think those are the two best balls on the market right now.
Yep.
You could throw some stuff in like Hustle Link, Venom Shock, some stuff that High Road, IQ Tour Solid, stuff that's been there. I'm kind of a big fan of the original Mako too.
Yeah, the original Mako was pretty fantastic.
But the GB3 is just everything I like about ball reaction. The Idol is just stupidity. So it's
for sure.
Those are.
I like some of the New Brunswick stuff that's coming out. They look like they're doing some good things. The Katana series is good, so I'd probably throw some of those.
All right, so Methuselah, this question for Anthony there.
Is the Rip Solid more versatile than the hybrid on house and sports shots? In my opinion, absolutely. And I believe that for most solids and most hybrids that are two-part solid, it's just, I just believe they're more versatile. You can do a little bit more. But that Rip Solid is the most special bowling ball that is considered a big one-ball, strong asymmetric piece that I've seen in quite some time. So the hybrid itself is very good out of box. I'm not sure, and I didn't really get a chance to do a lot of surface stuff with it. But that Rip Solid is absolutely special and for sure more versatile.
What's up with the microphone?
No, scroll down a little. How are you doing this?
We're almost caught up.
Well, I was just saying to make sure you're getting the people that are paying.
We covered those. And so like this one, Ryan again said thanks for the help with the middle game and everything else you do. So a couple of them are just thank yous, and definitely
just thank you.
I almost said that too. It's just my wife walks into these things. So what happened is she poured the beer, and there was a lot of foam. And you know what a lot of foam on the top of the beer is, and there's all kinds of places you can go with that. And she just walks right into it.
She said she gave me a lot of head.
Just walked right into him.
Fine with that.
It's like those videos that you see of.
I was like, no.
It's those videos you see of dogs that are running inside and they run into the glass.
The glass doors.
Sliding doors. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Phase 2 wet noodle. I kind of. Mine was. That's the funny thing.
I liked mine when I had that.
Mine was kind of a diva. You had to keep the surface on it. Mine, as soon as it lane shined, it got a little bit But it was a little bit more high maintenance, but it was actually okay. Clompkin, if Alex Hoskins wouldn't have hit the back 7 or whatever that he got,
right.
Clompkin might have won that tournament. Might have won the Masters.
And using 2 or 3 phase 2s.
No, we got a $5. Rodney Shelby, thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that. Everything is appreciated. Very, very cool.
What's he have here?
Yeah, I gotta get back up to the. Let's see. The station up here in Wisconsin got a couple more fiascos of body armor. Still don't have the peach light. Yeah, the peach mango.
Oh my God. That one is the best one. Period.
Yeah, we just restocked today. So Ray, I know Ray's always talking. Ray keeps mentioning to me that I've done some videos now without the body armor, and that's because I drank it all.
It's so good.
So
if you like Gatorade, shut that shit down.
Yeah.
Because it's not. No. It is so much better, and the lights are actually full flavored lights.
Oh yeah.
Naturally sweetened, so it's not crap.
Yeah, they use the stevia leaf, so it's not the artificial sweetener that's actually worse for you. It's worse for you than regular sugar, but I digress.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the body armor is legit. It almost tastes like going back to younger days. They had some juice called Juicy Juice.
Juicy Juice.
Juicy Juice. They taste like Juicy Juice. That's exactly because they taste more like juice than kind of the Gatorade type stuff.
Yeah, it just tastes like a sweeter Capri Sun.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Tips for first time junior gold national qualifier going to Dallas. Biggest tournament I've ever bowled was 32 lanes. What should I expect? Expect craziness.
Lots and lots of bodies, lots and lots of places, lots and lots of bowling balls.
Overwhelming.
It's going to be, if you've never seen anything like that, it's going to be insane.
Just enjoy it. I think that's what a lot of people say. I'm going to nationals for the first time. It's so awesome just being there. Yeah, I know that everybody wants to do well, but it's so awesome being there. Just take it all in. Just enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't get up there. I know that probably the nerves are going to get you for a little while. It's just bowling. It's still just bowling at somewhere that you haven't bowled. It's going to be on a tough shot. They several different shots over the
they do a couple of different patterns, 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I think it's 3 days, 5 games a day on long, medium, short. So
my advice would absolutely be to take as much information in as you can, and I don't mean like information about the tournament, information about your game, because tournaments like that will actually find the weak spots of your game for you. So that will give you a chance to, think about where your weak spots were and what you can come home and work on. So the next couple of times you get to go to junior gold, if there's a couple of left, you give yourself a legitimate chance to climb a ladder, finish higher every year, and just kind of advance your game for everything, not just junior gold, but if you decide that you want to continue bowling in your career, get into the PBA, do some of the regionals, that kind of thing, all that information is going to be huge for you later. Because there's nothing like going into junior gold and seeing all those kids, except when you walk into a regional that you just barely paid any money for, and you've got guys you see on TV all the time, the Wes Malas, the Chris Barr, Sean Maldonados, these guys that you see that are showing up to work. They're not here to meet and greet. They'll do it, but they're here to work. Kind of the same thing.
All right. Arsenal's High Road IQ Pearl, Defiant Soul, OG Cell, and Nitrous. Thinking getting the Codex and Hustle Lane. Two-handed, 18 miles an hour, 500 revs. I'd go straight to the ink because that's where the hole looks like it's at. It's a High Road-esque motion, but you've got High Road IQ Pearl, Defiant Soul, OG Cell. Those are all stronger, and then you jump straight down to the Nitrous. The Codex would be up there by the Defiant Soul and the OG Cell. Is what you're looking at there. The ink would fill the kind of gap that you have between the High Road and the Nitrous. So I would say go go hustling. You can't go wrong with a hustle link anyway. So
yeah, unless you're swapping something that's already in your arsenal out. That's true.
Yeah. Ed asks, right and left-handed bowlers are separate. Why aren't two-handers? I don't know. I've had this thing because I bowl with left. I'd love to bowl with both hands.
Worst possible person asked this question.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll keep it short because I've been down that several times. The two-hander thing is that you're still using a dominant hand. You're either left hand or right hand, and you don't switch sides of the lanes. And I think that they think that that's a unfair advantage depending on what you're bowling on.
Mm-hmm.
One side of the lane gets destroyed, switch to the other side.
Belmo can throw a backup ball just as good as anybody on the planet, would be my guess, and will actually do it in a PBA event, for his job. He will actually do it to get paid. So there's ways around some of those. Just, it takes a lot of work and a lot of practice.
Yeah. Ball has to go through the 3 phases at the proper time. That goes back to why the phase 2 doesn't hook a whole lot, or the better dry lane ball. That's a lot of people use bigger hooking balls as dry lane balls specifically because they blend the wet dry out. They don't have a lot of people use, it's short pattern, so I use a dry lane ball, and it's either doing this or doing that, when a stronger ball kind of blends everything out.
Yep.
So that's a good point on that. Thanks again, Rodney. We're back down to your comment. Thanks again for the donation.
Absolutely.
Very, very awesome. Welcome, Chris. Under 20 boys. Yeah, it's the same experience no matter what. It's just going to be crazy. Just going to be crazy. Way bigger, a lot of transition. Yeah, there's a lot of transition. That's like going into college. 2.5 games on a 30 mil shot, and they're loft and gutter caps.
Yeah.
Make your spares. That's actually very good tip from I Like YouTube.
Personal experience there. I spent a ton of time on my spare game at this last regional league. 300 was the cool, highlight of the tournament, but scores were not as high as they seemed like they should be because the center played pretty tough. But if my spare game wouldn't have been as sharp as it was, there would have been no way. I'd have not had a chance. So spares are by far the ways to get the most possible pins out of your game. A miss is 21 pins if you spare. A 9 spare is always going to give you 21 pins on a double. So you get beyond that and you open, and all of a sudden you got 8 pins.
Yeah.
So
let's see. Spares are for winners. Going to put that on a shirt at some point.
That's a good one.
Yep, definitely. Does Anthony have a YouTube channel? No, Anthony does not have a YouTube channel. We've
I do
discussed
not.
getting into that, but
we have done some discussions on it, and I should be having something for some ball reviews and that kind of thing. I have not. So, but I have a pretty good role model to show me about getting into it, and I imagine that will be in my near future.
Yep, look out. I'm a righty. I have a tough time making my 10 pins. You guys have any tips for that spare? Use as much lane as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Try to, lay the ball down on the 35 board, angle it at the 10 pin. It's about making your head comfortable with what's going on. If you line up in a way that you feel like you have to be absolutely dead nuts accurate, which you do have to be kind of accurate, I would also advise to turn your shoulders. Make sure that you're pointed directly at that pin. You don't just because you're standing here, you don't have to walk straight up to the line and then try to throw that way. Just get up there, aim yourself right at the 10 pin, and go right at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just when I'm coaching, I always say point your belly button at it because your hips are going to go exactly the way your torso is facing, and as long as your torso is facing that way, unless you're contorted, your shoulders are facing that way, and that will align your swing to get that for sure.
Yeah. Anthony lives off Luke's infamous. No, well, I don't know. You get,
to you guys, I do.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. No, Anthony does not work that hard. Yeah. Working in a pro shop, that's difficult. The actual work is not difficult, but it's difficult.
It's difficult maintaining your time.
Yeah.
It's easy to let something get away from you and then be rushed at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then it's 6 days a week in a pro shop too, so.
Right, so it's easy to put something back knowing that you don't have to have it done until Tuesday, and then all of a sudden it's Tuesday and shit.
Yep, National July 1 and 2. Thanks again, James, for everything. What PBA league team are you rooting for if you're rooting for one?
Wow.
I don't really know.
I don't think I'm actually rooting for. I love watching it. Period.
It's the best thing. Period. Because Maine is awesome, and you get to see everybody you want to see on TV instead of just seeing 5 guys. You're seeing everybody. So
right. It's great. Such a cool deal, and I watched this last or not Sundays, but last week's, and I saw Frankie get lit up a little bit.
Yeah.
Think about how calm and cool and collected he was shooting 300 on TV at the U.S. Open, and then goes and wins the tournament because he's so solid-minded.
Yeah.
But striking.
The most you get out of him was this type of thing.
And now you get him, and he comes back and he's speaking. He talks. He actually speaks to people. It's incredible to watch Jespers and the fist pumps and Kyle and the picks that makes ESPN. Bowling gets on ESPN for guys like this. For Maine.
Yeah.
I absolutely want to make a trip to Maine. I may dedicate a year of my life to get drafted.
Yeah.
Just to go there one time.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. So do I have a team? No, because whoever wins, it's just as hype as if somebody lost.
Yeah.
Parker Bone and that team lost. Like, these are the guys that I grew up idolizing.
Yeah.
And they didn't stand a chance, really, with the hits that they were getting. But you get Sean Rash coming back, silencing the crowd, and then you get, Walter Ray throwing his hands and hyping the crowd. It's incredible.
Walter Ray's not like that either.
No.
Walter Ray's
not since the 90s.
Kind of regressed, I'd like to see Brian Voss on some. That's the kind of funny thing is Brian Voss used to ham stuff up just a little bit too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be his ideal environment. That's a Brian Voss environment if you ever like.
I do have a scenario though that I would really like to see. I would, and I'll always watch. I will watch it every time. If Pete Weber has to strike for the win, I would watch that because his stuff makes it on ESPN.
Who do you think you are?
So if it ever comes down to I had to vote, it would be whoever team that he's on, and he needs the last one.
All right. Storm El Nino Wrath or the Storm Rain? I was actually not throwing Storm when the rain came out, and I think the Wrath was like the only El Nino I didn't have. I had the Exit, I had the 2000, that was my first 300 ball. I had the Gold, which is still the coolest looking ball ever. Chad, if you're watching or paying attention, we need teal and pink back. That was legendary. We really just need the IQ Tour Rising. That's what we really need.
That one looked kind of cool, too.
Phase G. Stuff I've mentioned before. On multiple occasions.
James, that's a good advice. Simpler is better for spare shooting.
Yep.
Absolutely. You don't want to get in a position where you have to have a spare and you have to overthink it or you miss something. Just keep it as simple as you can and just make it.
Dude, like you too. If you've ever been, I imagine you bowl in high school. It's high school times 1,000. I'm sure. I've never been there. I've heard, but Junior Gold is just nonsense. I can only imagine it's like a collegiate tournament or something like that, where it's just constant.
The only year I bowled was in Reno, and that stadium was packed.
Yeah.
And that's 80 lanes. It's humongous. And it was slam packed, 3 or 4 levels of nothing but kids and ball reps and bowlers. Really cool.
Yeah, bringing people together. Michael Senzaprano. Pretty sure I pronounced that right. I'm good with words. I'm good with names. James Niffen. Know people and don't even know it. So.
Right.
Joined late, was watching the PBA 50 and the PBA 50 and PWBA. That was some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. I love watching all that.
CL, you can always go back and catch stuff up. You can either start from the beginning of the stream now. It won't help you answer questions, or you can just hang out with us now and then go back. We talked about all the rule changes and stuff like that earlier. We've kind of moved on.
Thankfully.
From all that nonsense. So as soon as this archives, or as soon as we're done here, you can just go back and catch up everything. So,
do you think it's going to be a positive for the PBA going to Fox Sports for the next season? Improved exposure, if they can make network again for majors. I believe it's absolutely a positive.
Yeah.
29 shows the first season, and they've also promised to reach out and help gain sponsorship for the PBA.
Yeah.
So And the reason this strikes me, the reason I like this so much, we bowled with Kevin Williams at the Southwest tournament. He kind of flashed a little bit of information, not secret, but that kind of gave you a scare for the PBA. You know, like, oh man, it really, they really are kind of grinding by the teeth to make all this happen. So if anybody, including Fox Sports, is willing to throw in a bone, and I mean, even if it's just leads or offering more airtime just to get some more viewership, absolutely, bring it on.
Well, I think the way I heard it too is that ESPN just kind of used them against the NFL because that was their professional bowling was their biggest means of combating the viewership numbers that go to the NFL, and so they wanted to put them on to compete with the anything that competes with the NFL is going to lose.
Right.
And that was kind of their biggest number. Well, it's ESPN too, so what's PBA going to do? Turn it down? I mean, it was kind of it was one of those things where it's kind of like, well, this not ideal, but it's ESPN, it gets us by. Just put a Band-Aid on it for right now and move on. And now they're moving on, and I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You guys like watching collegiate bowling? Oh
yeah. Yeah. I don't really like it as much on some of the streaming channels because it is very limited. And college bowling is absolutely about the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. The atmosphere of college bowling and the team aspect. I think that's why Maine is so successful.
Yeah, the PBA league. That's why it's so successful. It's collegiate bowling at professional level.
So it's so awesome. And I was lucky enough to work for JOMA back when the ITCs were coming to, and then the Mid-States tournament came to North Rock. So I really got to witness a lot of that firsthand in the biggest bowling center in Kansas, packed full. And kids are screaming, and big games are just all over the place. Love it. Absolutely love it.
All right. Yeah, welcome for the great tips on the 10-pin. And I know I'm at least speaking for myself, but if you guys want to send me Facebook messages or you want to comment on YouTube, I answer every question that I get. It takes away. It might take me a day or two to get back to you sometime because we got a lot of people in here watching now. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Again, I plug my Patreon thing again, but there's a lot of that. I've gone really coaching heavy on that, so I've had a lot of articles about the mental game, about using surface for more than just traction, using it for shape is something a lot of people do. I wrote an article about that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff, and then on the Discord and stuff, there's a lot of great people in there, like James, for example. James also kind of runs the Reddit thing too, so a lot of people on there that I talk to on a regular occasion, and there's a lot very coaching heavy too. So
nothing like having somebody that understands that can manipulate the way that it's said to allow people to understand.
And that's another thing too in the coaching is I never coach two people the same. No. I say, what do you typically do with coaching? I don't know. We'll get into it and figure it out.
Yeah.
Because everybody's
Let's see what you got first.
Some people are more mathematical, and so they like numbers and boards and whatever else, and some people don't do that stuff. Sometimes you have to use some really creative, descriptive terms to get them to understand just a common sense, practical, well, this is what we're trying to accomplish. I mean, we can use a bunch of technical stuff and a bunch of stuff that nobody understands, but we want you to understand it and try to keep it as simple as possible. Like I said before, I don't like bowling math, and I think a lot of people like to get into college and start talking like they know a bunch of stuff, and they start using all the buzzwords and everything like that. But not a lot of them. I would say that there are some that they're particularly.
They stand out.
Yeah, they stand out because they throw all the right buzzwords, but and ball hook a little bit too much. So I did a 2 on 1 left, and it's like, well, no, you missed. Like you tugged at 3 boards.
Mm-hmm.
And
I made a move on a bad shot.
You made a move on a bad shot, and then you're giving your teammates bad information, but it sounds good because you made a 2 on 1 left because the ball hooked too much. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't even hit the shim on that one. There may not be a shim,
especially just didn't get it there.
Yeah, especially if you're 7 frames in, and I just just didn't get the shim. Shim's not there in 7 frames. I hate to inform you that.
Not unless you had 20 minutes of practice.
Oh dang! Oh man, we're getting some good stuff there. Okay. That's to make pros junior gold. Yeah, the boss actually paid for us to go to
Expo
a couple of years ago. That was heckin' awesome. I didn't even talk to nobody. I mean, I was 5 feet from Pete Weber and Chris Barnes and Jason Belmonte was talking to people that were standing next to me. So it's kind of like, man, I felt like Anthony Michael Hall and 16 Candles, like the king of the nerds.
Oh my God.
I mean, and that's just
the old
kind of like,
Shermanator, huh?
Man,
You're gonna pull out a Shermanator line next?
You're cool to some people, but when you get it around the really cool people, it's a whole different story. And I didn't say a word.
Right.
Robert Smith is really cool, by the way. We actually did a Facebook Live video with him down there. He took all kinds of time with us. He's a really cool guy. I didn't talk to him, of course, because Okay, for Anthony, Black Paradox, Alias, Dark Legend, solid, quick thoughts. Yes, Luke, the ink is awesome. Have 3, yeah.
Black Paradox, you just can't go wrong with. Great solid hybrid ASIM, just a repeat of the original, just different color. So it's so good they made it twice. Alias I like for versatility, depending on if you drilled it asymmetric or symmetrically. Really doesn't matter. Really versatile piece. I had a chance to throw the Dark Legend solid, really smooth. It looks like it's time for something symmetrical for you. Maybe a pearl in there. You got some hybrids in a solid. But you're ready for some oil. Looks like for sure. You'll be striking on some heavier stuff when other guys are struggling.
All right. Head to Mooresville to spend some days watch the PBA 50 tournament there. Love to talk to some legends, get a few signatures, but they even want to be talked to. And that's something that's really interesting. That's something that, as I've gotten a lot more viewers and a lot of people that think that I'm actually somebody, which is cool. if you guys see me anywhere, I would think that that's just cool because we go to just local sweepers around here, and I have people that come up and say, "Hey, I watch your YouTube channel." I'm like, all right, that's cool. So I imagine that imagine you kind of get to the point where it's kind of like, oh my God, well, somebody else wants my time, or somebody else wants my time, and I think that the main thing with the pros is
it's got to be the right time. Not during competition.
Yeah, or after they just lost and they're throwing stuff everywhere because they're frustrated or whatever. That's probably not the best time to go up and. James Helen, yeah. Keep up the great work and thanks again for the idol. Yeah, I was going to say you probably got that yesterday, or you should have. Yeah, he's another one of my Patreon guys, and that's the funny thing about how that works is we had I did my bracket challenge, and we had the one for my Patreon users, which they pay a monthly subscription fee for all the good stuff that goes on over there. And so I was gonna have the March Madness bracket challenge for the NCAA basketball tournament. And so whoever won the Patreon bracket got a free ball, and then whoever won my YouTube bracket was gonna get a free jersey, like the Storm Nation jerseys or something like that. It just so happens that James won the YouTube bracket, but he's also a Patreon member too, and so I just went ahead and upgraded him to a ball for that. So,
yeah,
definitely hope that I think he's already has the one idol and liked it so much that he wanted another one for his prize. So, yeah, I sent out an idol. And I got a Sonic that I think I'm going to deliver to Justin Dempsey tomorrow. He lives in Kansas City, so we're going to be up there at a mixed doubles tournament, the wife and I, tomorrow. Drilled her a new Craig Garlowitz. I hope I pronounced that right. Probably did. I traded with him for an Optimus for the wife for her birthday, which is next Wednesday, by the way. Woo! Yeah, May 2nd. She will be older than me again for another 3.5 months. So everybody say happy birthday to Angel because she loves that kind of stuff. Oh my God, does she love it. So, yeah, definitely we'll keep up the great work, James. Thanks so much for the donations and, again, for being Patreon subscribers. This
is really cool.
That's pretty awesome. So,
this is really special. So
yeah. And so back to the question about seeing the guys I imagine that being on the PBA 50 tour, they don't get a whole lot of that anymore, but it's probably, they're kind of fading off into their golden years, so I think that's probably it's a lot cooler for them. They're not quite so...
Especially the younger crowd.
Yeah. I think it's something that they'd probably enjoy, as long as you get them at the right time, and like I think James said, It's like, yeah, they should be pretty cool. They should all be pretty cool. I would imagine Pete Weber is one of the guys that at Expo, he was just hanging. He was just sitting down at a table, hanging out with whoever, chatting up whoever would come down there and talk to him. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys that you don't want to have anything to do with when you're actually bowling, but as soon as he steps off the lanes, like he's just cool as hell. He was having a good old time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
you're below that.
Yeah. Positive. Watch college shows, women's PBA. Yeah. Making spares. Yep, that's good. Black Paradox, Mooresville. How to become more consistent just practicing on sport shots? Not really. I think you don't. I would suggest not getting into sport shots before you're fairly consistent on a house shot because they tighten you up. A lot of the time, the PBA pros will, because everything, you got to make good shots. You got to make good shots. They'll go bowl on house shots just so they can loosen their arm swings back up. So I would say get really comfortable on a house shot before you start messing with too many sport shots. Sport shots will let you know where you're at because there's some really, like I got to the point left-handed where 220 right-handed, I'm still about 200-ish on sport patterns.
Yeah, I think mine's a 204.
Yeah,
I think.
But left-handed, I'm such a wall baby left-handed. I'm up at 210-ish left-handed, but I'm 170 on a good day on sport patterns left-handed. It's just a total different.
You really want to get your game in check and have your fundamentals really aligned, and then allow. Because ultimately the goal is to make it as easy as possible. So you'll hear guys talking about shim, so now you've got a little misroom left. You'll hear guys talking about some free hook, so you got some little misroom right. And all bowlers want to do is loosen their swing. They don't want to be so tight because every miss is detrimental. So really align your fundamentals, get your footwork square, be solid at the line, do release drills to make sure you can repeat them often, and then take yourself to a sport shot, see where you're at, and then find the weaknesses from that point beyond.
Yeah. Oh, and James, back to what? Where are you just going to stash the idol for a while, or are you going to put a different layout on it or something? That was something that talking to James Niffen about having one idol polished, one idol fresh, a couple different drillings. Cover a lot of stuff there.
Right.
Let's see. This is okay. Here we go. What's your opinion on Optic, Scampi, and MLG? Like, I have no idea what's happening with Optic right now. Like, they're all going to break up, and I think it's absolute stupidity because cover years. World War II sucks. The hit detection is awful, so I can understand why the pros don't like it.
Oh,
and I don't see how you win a championship and then get on a dog balls game and then break everybody up a couple months later. And
because people say
maybe
World War II sucks. That's probably how it started.
Man, well,
this might be the beginning of our breakup.
I got chrome camo, and let me tell you, the mechanics of the game are shaky. Shaky. It's gotten better since Condrey and Schofield quit, but yeah, hit detection not great. Maybe even Black Ops 2. I don't know what that means, but I like Infinity War games the best. Everybody hated Infinite Warfare, but it had the best game mechanics. Hardly any lag, very quick because the hit detection was crisp. When you told the controller to do something, it did it. So, yeah. Okay, you talked about that. How would one learn to loft a ball without grabbing at the ball during the shots? It's all about your fingers. It's a yo-yo motion without trying to load up at the bottom. That's typically when people grab it is when they get to the bottom and they try to load up because you load up with your whole hand. So your whole hand clenches and then you can't let go of the ball. I won't even get into the layout or the fit aspects of that. The whole fit thing, they used to use a bunch of reverse. Well, that helps you get out of the ball quicker. No, it makes you grab it more on the swing. So then you got to try to pry it off. And then you have to add more reverse because you can't pry it off. And then you can't hang on to it. So it's just how would one learn to loft the ball? It's all in the fingers. Relax your thumb, and when you get to the bottom, you flip it off your. You can actually try this with get like a puff ball. Like I've told people, I used to sit there and play with a remote or something at the pro shop or whatever. Just get a puff ball and just spin it. See how fast you can spin it. because it gets you used to just that yo-yo motion, just really catching it with your fingers. Yeah.
You know, football, that's the one I've always used.
Yeah, football's pretty good too.
Yeah, if you the tighter the spiral, the better your release was, and you can visually see by the motion or the angles of the ends of the football whether it's going to repeat yourself or not.
Looking further down the lane is also a pretty good one too, because your body's not, your head's not used to sports like that. You're used to stuff like baseball and football and basketball where you look at the target and you get everything there on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you look further down the lane, your body's naturally going to want to just kind of throw it to there. It's not lay it down and let it roll there. That's another.
That's a really great skill to have in your bag too, especially when lanes are playing really, really tough, and you know where you want the ball to end at. That's another really good way to, or just a good piece to have in your bag to be able to do that and be confident in yourself being able to do it.
And there's another. I get a lot into the mental side of things because it's just so intriguing to me that if you go anytime you go and look at a set of pins, like Brad drops the pins, you look at the head pin. Tell me you don't look at the head pin.
Right.
Whenever those come down, because that's the focal point. There's a lot of people that if somebody has trouble with tugging the ball, I'll always say, well, don't look at the head pin. Well, how do you know I'm looking at the head pin? Because it's in the middle, and your brain will try to get it there on the fly.
Your ball's getting there, it's just hooking later.
The head pin's not your target, so you're confusing your head because whether you realize it or not, you're auto-targeting the head pin, and so your body is trying to get it there, even though you're trying to throw it that way. Well, your target is that way. You have to get it to your target to get it back to the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So don't look at the head pin.
Right.
I look at the 6 pin actually because that's the line that I want that just kind of focuses with the general path. I mean, that should put you about 10 at the break point.
Right.
So if you focus on it's different on every shot, but just generally on a half shot, I make sure I look at the 6 pin because that gets me lined up with generally where my target's going to be at down lane. So
I'm going to throw a little hot shot out here to Josh Blanchard and his book that he's written or co-written. There's actually a chapter that has a lot of this information, just like he explained it, with increasing your focal point down the lane some, and kind of giving yourself a couple of different points, almost kind of like a checkpoint. So if you know your target at the arrows, because not everybody targets at the arrows, is such and such. You're going for 10, but now you know that the tracer board, if you're inside of 10 there at 43 feet, you're not going to hit the head pin. So now you've got that second focal point. But if you're aiming at a 6 pin, which is common for us who really shape the ball, it just kind of it kind of trains the subconscious. And the really cool part about this co-written book is the doctor that's helping write this book is incredible explaining this knowledge. So if what we're saying doesn't quite make sense, or you want the research to back it all up, it's out there. It's in written. It's hard copy, and you can go to jbbowling.com and pick it up.
There's also another really good one by a buddy of mine, Rick Hamlin and Gary Yamasaki, called Head Games.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good one. And I think the best thing for me is I like how they wrote the book. It's very short little paragraphs. It's very concise, efficient information because and it's not a huge book either. And that's something that if you're writing something about the mental game and you make it mentally tiring to read, there's no point. And so they break it down. Each of the chapters are only a couple pages long. There's a couple sentences and a break, and so it's just how it's written just pairs so well with but how it's written goes along with the theme of what they're talking about to begin with. So it's just a very smartly written book all the way around. So
agreed. Yeah, anything that you can do to pick up information like that from people that have confidence in explaining this information is absolutely worth your time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, less knee bend, that'll help too. That'll keep you higher up. That's a Mika Koivuniemi thing. Yeah. That's how you pronounce his name, by the way. Mika Koivuniemi. It's not Kovunemi. It's not Koivunemi. Koivuniemi. Less knee bend, that'll help. And Mika thing. Happy birthday, Angel. No more beer for you. Gonna dump it all out after that. I might be paying for that later.
Yes. Uh-oh. No. Oh, man.
I feel feel like I just opened Pandora's box.
It did get cold in here.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ. Kyle and Brad, their channel is awesome.
Oh, I love watching those two.
That's the kind. When I started doing my channel, originally it was ball reviews and stuff like that. That's what I've been working to for a long time. So I'm actually kind of mad at them.
Yeah, they really but they have the opportunities being on tour full time to really take that channel and expand it. We get the opportunity to see a lot of locals and then Kansas Cities. And when we discussed it, we'd love to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Put it on this channel. They just do such a cool job. And Portland, Maine is such a cool thing. And the fact that they vlogged all 3 days or all 4 days of that event for them is fantastic. And, we're not too far from their hometown. So they come and bowl some of the sweepers that we bowl and some of the tournaments we see. And they're just amazing people. They're just like that in real life. So absolutely support their channel. If you haven't subscribed or even taken a look, definitely worth a chance to take a look at. Oh man, I feel it. I didn't do it at all. Not even a little bit.
My wife has this thing where when she gets mad, her eyes turn black.
Are your eyes burning?
My eyes burn.
It's like looking at Cyclops. X-Men.
Two of them.
Uh-oh. Lance posted something else. We're skipping. Dang, Lance. You didn't want to let James that, do you, huh?
Take that, James.
Yeah.
You're not
either James, Niffin or Helen.
Period.
Yeah.
Until you guys donate more, you're at the bottom of the list now.
What finger and thumb pitches do you guys use? I'm actually going to try only about half of the brown.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't tried that one yet. So, yeah, I'm only going to do about half on that one. What finger and thumb pitches do you guys use? My finger pitches are an eighth, so middle finger, so that you guys can see this. Eighth of an inch left, eighth of an inch reverse, eighth of an inch reverse, 5/8 right, and thumb is a 16th reverse.
Yeah, you're a 16th.
So,
mine have been changing quite a bit.
Exit angle is important.
I was eating pickle juice.
I'm smelling pickle juice.
I was like, why is that sour smell?
I hate pickles.
Mine have been changing quite a bit on the finger side. Just trying to find
You didn't know which one I was going to have anyways.
Really?
Shh.
You're gonna get killed. I use a little wider bridge than most people, and I don't use finger inserts, so that allows me to be a little bit more creative with the pitches. But I'm about a quarter, and then a quarter on the middle finger. I'm 3/8 and a quarter away on the ring finger. But I'm an eighth forward on the thumb. Something I was experimenting with that worked out really well. I had some trouble. My rev rate, I was extremely rev dominant. So I was looking for some ways to kind of help increase the roll because my axis is also much lower than a lot of guys that score in kind of our realm. So I tend to spin it quite a bit. So I really wanted to increase some roll, and going forward with that allowed me to change my grip pressure up to make that happen. So that's where I'm at with those interchangeable thumbs.
And it's important to know that there's always going to be a blend between what's comfortable and what's functional.
Mm-hmm.
If it's perfectly functional, it's probably not going to be comfortable. It's probably going to tear your hand up a little bit. But if it's super comfortable, it's probably not going to be very functional. So you've got to find that right blend. And something that Rick Hamlin's talked to me a lot about is the exit angle. So even if something feels comfortable on your hand, if you're having trouble prying it off, you have to pay attention to how the ball comes off your hand almost more than anything. So if your thumb angle is not, if your thumb's really slow to come out, you've got to pay attention. You want that thumb to just, you want to be able to hang on to it, but then you want it to just slide right off. So
you don't want to pull a Matt O'Grady and have an absurdly tight. And from the look of it, my guess is he's probably, a quarter or more away in his fingers and probably an eighth, maybe even a quarter forward in his thumb just by watching his swing motions. But he believes in absolutely super tight thumb holes and knocked himself unconscious. So
We're having bidding wars up in here.
Take that, Lance.
Take that, Lance. Yeah. Yep. Niffin's up to $22.
Oh,
Lance is sitting at 20. Cash me outside. How about that?
I think what we should do is, is maybe just set a goal, and if you get to that goal, per person, just make it a $10 deal, then you get something, right? Like,
yeah, we'll have to figure
like
that out.
Like you'll take your shirt off.
Yeah. Man. You might have to turn the brightness way down on the monitors.
We could turn the lights off in here, and you guys see us. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, because it gets.
Oh man.
I mean, you can barely tell I have this watch on.
Right.
I agree. World War II is terrible. I'm telling you, man.
Hold on. What's that name say there?
I like YouTube. It is, yeah. It's the guy that we're talking to about
I noticed he didn't spell YouTube right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Man.
No.
Dude.
I kind of like boots on the ground.
I do like boots on the ground. The hit detection is rough.
I will also agree that I hate hit markers on hardcore.
When you're shooting people in like their pinky finger and getting headshots, or when you're actually shooting them in the head, because there's a lot of stuff on Chrome Camo. When you're getting all the camos for all the guns, you've got to get a lot of headshots. And when you're shooting people in the head, it's not giving you headshots. Even in hardcore, some heckin' nonsense.
Right.
Heckin' nonsense. Man, I've never. Let's see. Okay, back to James Helen. Pin up eventually. Have my other one currently pinned down. 500 plus step tunes matching up with It's a whole bunch of smooth already, so I like it.
Well done.
I'm not a pin down type of guy, but I like the.
Oh man, I love it pin down.
Do you notice the difference in the way Brunswick pins carry versus the way Cubica pins? And that's actually really funny because Cubica makes Brunswick's, or is it AMF?
AMF.
AMF makes Brunswick's pins, but AMF uses all the good pins, and Brunswick gets the not so good pins.
And both centers in town are now using twister pins, so we actually get the best of both worlds. We will constantly say, and we'll get flack for, or I'll get flack for saying this, but twister pins are absolutely where it's at.
I love twister pins.
So,
they carry differently.
Yep.
You're going to see a lot more stone 7s, stone 9s, stone all kinds
9
of
back,
stuff.
A lot of 9 back.
But when the mechanic has to go back behind the machines and put pins back in the pit because they're flying everywhere.
And you're sparing Greek churches and big 4s on GSX machines. Absolutely worth it.
I'm a big fan of twisters. Plus, it's a really good deal for the house because.
Good job for the house because.
Back at you. All right, so we're 20-25 for Lance, 22 for James. So.
Oh snap!
Dang, twisters are dumb. I can't leave flat 10 pins with those. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Twisters are where it's at.
The great thing about twisters, and this is, when I'm bowling, especially if we're bowling on something that's not a house pattern or even worse, like really, really tough. That 6-pin thing that we were talking about. I'm still aiming right of where I should be. My carry percentage hitting light is much higher than tripping like a 4 or a 4-9 like you. You 4-9 better than anybody I've ever seen. But I 9-pin like nobody's business often. So I'm constantly playing that swisher zone. And there is nothing like watching a head pin fly back and forth, kick back to take out a 7 or take out a 10 or whatever have you. So twisters are absolutely fun.
Twisters
and a value for the proprietor.
Twisters are plastic pins, and what the deal is with twisters is that they have a 3-year warranty. And if anything goes wrong with that pin inside of 3 years, you ship it to the manufacturer and they send you one back for free. The wooden pins have a 1-year warranty. I believe twisters and Brunswick pins, or twisters and wooden pins, are about the same cost too. So you get
not too far.
Most of the time, houses, if they keep up with it regularly or can afford to, buy pins. About once a year, once every 2 years, 2 years, something like that. Twister pins, you don't even have to think about buying for 3 years. And if anything goes wrong with them, you send them back and you get new pins. And so if something goes wrong with them in, say, 2 years, you send a case of them back, you get a new case of pins after you've used the previous case for 2 solid years.
And the difference being, and you're looking at $1,000 per machine to stock them with plenty of pins, and we're just assuming Brunswick machines. But most of them will run somewhere between 21 and 25 pins comfortably. So you're looking at $1,000 per lane. So
Hannah says hi, and World War II is awesome. Uh-oh, we're right back. James Helen right back up there. Man.
All right.
Dang.
One more penny, James, and we'd have had his shirt off.
Yep.
Don't donate a penny. That's going to cost you more than Don't do it.
Yeah, it's going to cost you your eyesight. Eyesight's a precious thing. All right. Hannah's heckin' pissed. World War II is awesome from the one person here who, so in World War II, as I'm sure I like YouTube knows, you get payroll every 4 hours.
Oh my God.
Hannah gets payroll every 4 hours.
Just about. She wakes up before she goes to work, gets payroll, comes home from work before she has to hurry up, go to a second job if she's going, gets payroll. It's time to go to bed. I better log on and get payroll.
Probably wakes up in the middle of the night and gets payroll.
I've only been asleep for 4 hours.
She's probably got a 4-hour timer set on her phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, twisters are dumb. Pins fly everywhere. Light hits are a lot better than heavy hits, but I'm a big fan of twister pins. I don't like mixer sevens. And when the ball comes in a little bit late, you leave mixer sevens on Brunswick pins or wood pins. I can't stand that. I would rather
throw 6 pins out of 7 pins, you still don't get it.
I would rather leave stone 4, stone 4-9 because you'll get it back. I don't even care. Yeah, they actually used twister pins at Nationals for a little while too. So yeah, damn you guys making me look bad. I mean, you gave me a ball. Yeah, well, you kind of won that.
You won the ball. You earned it.
I did kind of upgrade you to the ball, but that's some really cool stuff for me, and that's what the whole thing of the donations actually helped me do that kind of stuff. So I mean, that's the first thing I did is I'm making a couple $100 a month on the Patreon stuff. But we got a new laptop here, so I don't have to have this. We're using this for the streaming right now. This is actually going to enable us to go to. I'm trying to work out something with my brother to do this type of thing at the brewery down there.
I think if we do that, we have to tone everything back and take them on the tour.
Yeah.
Virtually take them on the tour.
Because I can walk around this laptop now, and we can go all over the place. I can take it. We can do it at Nationals. We can do it at Springfield. We can do it, and that's going to enable me to start as soon as I figure out the camera thing. Finding power in a bowling center is tough, and that camera there has to be plugged into power 24/7 because the battery sucks.
I don't know, man. I think if we get your shirt off, we're going to buy a new camera.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, the vast majority of this stuff either goes into recouping all my losses from last year on the desk and the chairs. I need a new chair. We need to do all kinds of stuff. And so this actually helps. It was a lot of fun being able to run that bracket challenge. And then, I'll just get him the ball. Instead of the jersey, I'll just send another ball.
Right.
So send out balls for that. And then, I mean, that enable us to do really all kinds of cool stuff. And so
I think I might try to work something out too. Maybe I can get a couple of balls, or maybe I can get some things thrown into this as well. Because I mean, you put in a lot of time, and I just get to sit here and drink beer and talk on camera for a little bit. I mean, I live in your shadow. Yeah. So maybe I can find a way to help donate to this program as well, and maybe we'll find a way to donate something to charity, or help build this and do something cool with it. So I'll work with my people and see what we can come up with. But I'd like to pitch into you guys are doing good, and there's obviously a few of you closet EBIs guys out here. So
even though it's a storm channel, that's kind of a storm channel. The reviews are storm. This is
Hello Kitty.
I don't know if this falls into a conflict of interest, but we're not going to think about that because that's just gonna kill the mood here. So
yep.
Yeah, they actually did twisters were actually used at Nationals for a couple of years too.
2 or 3 years, yeah.
They used those before they thought, dang. Wow, guys. This is crazy. Man.
You guys are doing awesome. This is so cool.
This must be what these Twitch streamers feel like. Like I watch a couple guys on Twitch, and they'll have guys try to one-up each other and go back and forth. This is...
I feel like we're at an auction.
This is crazy. Yeah. What if I had that 5? Yeah.
So where are we at?
I don't even know where we're at. We're getting these donations here,
and they come in pretty colors, right? They're not just they stand out. They're actually bigger and bolder, and it kind of puts anybody who's not donating $1 very small.
Yeah. James Niffen actually helped me, or he actually kind of set up my Discord, my chat server, which we have a Patreon side, and then we have just anybody's side. So if you want to go chat with a bunch of people, I don't get on there as often as I'd like, but when I do get on the Discord chat thing, we all talk, and there's a pretty good community on there anyway. And that's one of the things I like about Patreon is that only the people are there that really want to be there. And so there's no toxicity. It's always very positive. It's always a very
that's what we need.
Learning environment. So it's nice. It's a nice filter more than anything, because even just a couple bucks that it costs a month filters out a lot of the negativity and toxicity. And I don't think anybody's going to pay money to get in there and just troll anybody. So
if you could imagine, it's like
very cool.
Like YouTube is the YMCA, right? Everybody can get in, let all the kids in, and then you've got Patreon, which is like the expensive gym where the bodybuilders go because they don't want the kids running around. Kind of the same example from all the plugs I've seen you put up.
Yeah. All the endless amount of plugs. Yeah. By the way, channel depth and sideboards can vary quite a bit on Pendex. Certainly affects messengers. Actually, I do lane certification. Done that for several years now. So we actually have specs that we have to hit on that, and some of that stuff can be very lively and send stuff all over the place. So
yeah.
He gets a lot more messengers than I do. I can send some stuff flying on my occasional good shot that I throw a couple times a night. What World War II? Call of Duty World War II.
Video game.
Yeah.
The real World War II we don't get to talk about.
Dang. Man, Advanced Warfare. It's kind of funny. I go back and play Advanced Warfare, and I like that the best of all because it's not the wall running really threw it out. And the heckin' ASM1 Speakeasy. They call that Val of Duty, too, because the Val 23? Obsidian Steed. The Obsidian Steed was insane. That and the Speakeasy were the only guns that I even used. So, newest Call of Duty game on PS3. Dude, Black Ops 3 looks like balls on PS3, by the way. That's hilarious. I've actually seen that. It looks like a PS1 game.
That sucks.
Yep. Heckin' amazing. Screw that World War II. I played the mission, sold it to a co-worker because the multiplayer sucked. Actually, the multiplayer has gotten quite a bit better. Some of the new map packs are pretty good, and since Condry and Schofield quit, the game sped up a little bit. They've added some new stuff into it, so it's quite a bit better than it used to be. The hit detection and the hit markers in hardcore still kind of suck.
And I'd like to play the campaign. I typically do that first, and I hadn't spent any time on it.
That's the thing. I think I played maybe 30 minutes of it once because I felt like it. What the hell was that?
I think that was a sneeze.
Interesting. You guys probably even heard that. I got a really good microphone.
The microphone's fantastic. I'm surprised you guys didn't hear it.
Thank you guys for that, too. I've had this for a while, but that's actually part of the upgrades and the improvements that I started last September-ish, August-ish, something like that. I don't think Ghost 2 is going to happen.
Hold on. I think we get to call that one out first.
Yeah. Shot 300 on 13.
That's awesome. That's unreal. M.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really, really cool. Now you got the first one out of the way. Now it's easier. I mean, it doesn't feel easier when you get to the 11th ball, but the 11 up to that point become a little easier because now you have confidence yourself being able to do that. That's really, really cool. She's watching the Royals.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's happening. That explains it all.
That wasn't a sneeze. That was a woohoo.
Yeah. My wife is the biggest Mike Moustakas fan on the planet, and I have to eat a lot of. I eat crow rather regularly now, but back when Moustakas had first come up and wasn't great, I used to call him Mike Moustakas. I can't do that anymore because he's actually really good now.
I hear footsteps.
Yeah. Just start talking to me through the floor. We're probably going to wrap this up here. We've been doing this for a couple hours, and The Bellator fights on with a couple of 40-year-olds that Fedor used to be awesome, Mir used to be awesome. We're gonna see what happens here, but
right.
Black Ops 4 is the next Call of Duty coming out, and I've heard all kinds of nonsense about that. It's probably gonna be awful.
Right.
There's no campaign. They're focusing completely on the multiplayer.
Well, I imagine that saves tons of time and man hours. So maybe if the multiplayer is not absolutely phenomenal, then it's just going to be a bust.
I heard of a month ago. It was in pieces, just in tragic shape, because they threw something in where you would get perks out of supply drops or something, and they had a lot of things play tested, and people absolutely hated it, and so they had to like redesign kind of the whole game, and now they're going to have like a battle royale Fortnite type thing. And they're going to do their Black Ops 4 is going to be completely off the chain, crazy, all kinds of nonsense. So thanks, James, for posting Discord server. Again, we have the regular public server. It's kind of restricted on some stuff. You can't post a whole bunch of pictures, but being that it's free, anybody can get on there and kind of troll and do some nonsense. So there's no language, there's no pictures, so it's a little boring. But I just don't want it to go off the rails. That's not trying to get people to pay money to get in the Patreon side of it. It's just I want the whole thing to be positive. Bowling's supposed to be fun, and there's enough, especially on Facebook, there's enough toxicity, and I just don't want anything to do with that. So Yep, Val 27, Obsidian Steed. It's kind of funny. I had 2 different accounts on Advanced Warfare, and there was one account where I got the Speakeasy pretty early, and I didn't get Obsidian Steed until I was like, because they came out of supply drops, the good stuff did. I didn't get that until I was like Prestige 8 or something. And then I made a new account towards the end of the game. And I got the Speakeasy, I got the Obsidian Steed, I got the Steel something or other IMR that was just really stupid, Steel Tusk or whatever. It was just really stupidly good. Back shooting 313, that's even cooler.
Right.
And
you used the high road man.
Have fun with it, man. Just have fun with it. That's what bowling's about. Don't let anybody tell you, it's 300 on a house shot.
And did that ball have a weight hole in it?
Yeah, a lot of people that give you hell about that don't have 300s. So.
Right.
Catch me outside.
Whoa!
Dang! Man, Lance just threw down, y'all.
He said he knew we were coming, knew we were leaving.
Hey, thanks, Tracy, for signing up. I think you'll enjoy it. Even if I'm not on there, the community's great. Great. So, man, gosh darn it, Lance. Man, Lance just threw down like he ain't even playing around.
Yeah. He made James look like a baller on a budget.
Yeah, man, we got more. How does the Codex, Daredevil Trick, and Phase 2 compare, and would there be room to keep all 3 in a bag? That's a lot of overlap. Codex is the Trick is really rolly and the smoothest of all of them. I think the Phase 2 is the sharpest of them all. Codex is kind of in the middle. The hook potentials are, I think the Codex, Trick, and Phase 2, but only by a couple boards. You could probably keep them in a bag, but there are a lot of similar shapes, a lot of similar hook potentials, a lot of similar. If it was me, I'd carry around the X and the Trick. I would just let the.
Well, and you also have some surface options there. Maybe you polish the Trick, or maybe you don't polish the Trick. Polish the Phase 2, and it might open your gap a little bit, but they're pretty close.
Yeah, man, rein it in. I don't know. You're on the Patreon thing, and so we're.
Oh, don't worry.
We're bleeding you dry $5 at a time. So don't worry about it, man. We're all.
No, you guys have been fantastic.
Eric Rodriguez too. Yeah, you're on there too, and Lance and. Yeah,
everybody. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
this is fantastic.
Very, very cool, guys. This will definitely help towards the. I was hoping to have the camera pretty soon, so I can do some. And you've got a GoPro.
I do have a GoPro.
Niffin mentioned to me about putting the power issue is kind of something, and this laptop's going to need. It's just the problem with the live streaming stuff is doing on the phone sucks because the quality sucks.
Right.
But if you do it on something, most of the time sets are 3 hours long, and so finding power to keep everything running for that long.
Right.
It works really well if you do like a Nick Campfield type thing. By the way, my buddy Nick Campfield runs the streaming bowling channel. He made a deal to kind of do all the local streaming for some of the local tournaments here. So but the thing with that is he sets up where there's power and just kind of catches people as they filter through because we move. But if I get to, like, if we go to Springfield, I wanted to live stream Springfield. But if we get down there, and I actually think somebody asked a question about, I think we missed a question back there about somebody asking what's the coolest tournament that we go to. Swiss Trios in Wichita is really cool. That's
fun.
Greater Ozarks is a lot of fun. Going to have the Tulsa Open, that's a lot of fun. There's actually a lot of tournaments that are
Southwest,
really cool tournaments. Any kind of bigger tournament like that's very, very cool.
I liked the Swiss Trios. The really cool thing that I missed most about it this last year was changing the team names. And I understand, I'm not complaining that they've changed that particular rule. But some of those team names get absolutely creative, and there's nothing like creativity out of emotion. So you create something out of anger, it's going to be hilarious. You create something out of being happy, then completely different kind of creativity. So
yeah, well, I definitely got to plug this. The drop us a lot of money here for. They use a GoPro Session and a 60D with a kit lens for all of our videos, the EG Life. So everybody go check out the EG Life on YouTube. Him and his wife do some stuff. I think I went and watched a couple of the videos, but I didn't click the subscribe button, so that's definitely worth a subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that right heckin' now. Let me go to a different.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm on this. The EG Life. There we go. I researched it. Evil Geniuses. Interesting. There we go.
There it is. And then there's subscribe right there.
Yeah. Subscribe.
The Glamour Life.
Man, yeah. Interesting.
I'm going to check this out. I'll subscribe to them.
There's makeup videos on here. I'm pretty sure that's not the right one. It might be the right one. Is it the right one? Tell me. Tell me if it's the right one. I remember there's bowling videos on there, so I've got to see what. Let me try to do this differently. I think I might have just subscribed to something. Subscribe to.
You're gonna know how to do your makeup from now on.
Yeah, let's. I don't need to know how. Yeah, let's unsubscribe from that until unless you tell me that that's the one. But I don't think that's the one because I've seen the one for the EG Life. Yeah. You're gonna have to send me a link. Let me see. Here's EG Life. That's something else. There's a lot of EG Lives. That's probably not the one either. Send me a link, man. Yeah, link me to your homepage.
And then I'll subscribe as soon as.
Yeah, link it to your homepage and everything too.
But a 6.
So
with the lens. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I got a GoPro at a really great deal. It's just not great distance, so I have to do some work with it. But yeah, it's a really great pickup, and we can do some really creative stuff with it because it is strong.
Maybe I just didn't. Let me type all together. Like he's got it. EG.
There you go.
Man, she's screaming out there again. The EG Light, Eric and Grace. I think that's it. I think that's actually. There we go. There we go. So yeah, you got to do it all together. You got to type it in just exactly like you type it in.
The EG Life, no space.
Subscribe. The bowling channel. Who would have known? It's the bowling channel. Wow. Thanks again, Eric. I really appreciate all the support. I've talked to you several times, and of course, this is really cool when I recognize people. That's the thing is we're up to almost 3,800 subscribers now, and when it's kind of getting hard to recognize because there's tons of new people all the time. I get 10, 15 new subscribers a day most of the time now. So.
And I noticed that I've been watching you in this video for a couple of hours, and I would bet 90% of my video is right here.
Yeah.
It just moves and it's crazy, and there's not 3,800 people at a time. So even the smaller amounts of people, it's just insane.
Yeah, they switch usernames now. So yeah, that one, type it in exactly like it is on there, the EG Life, and pull that up.
Yep.
Go subscribe to that, man.
I'll look at some of that stuff tonight. I'll be leaving here pretty soon, and I'll check it out myself. That's really cool.
It's hard getting subbed when you're a smaller channel because when you search for stuff, it doesn't come up on the first page most of the time unless it comes up on the first page. So you kind of have to do some guerrilla marketing and get on all kinds of social media and stuff. And then once you get to the point where if somebody searches for the Roto Grip Idol and my video's in the top 3, probably a pretty good chance you're going to click on it. Click on it and watch a minute or two, especially if it's
you might watch all 3 and then constantly, and then you'll start feeding through.
Yeah, then you go back and watch all the other 200 ones before that I made. So, Lance, my man, once again, just knocking it out of the park. Lance. Eric Rodriguez, thanks a bunch, you guys, again. I'm gonna go back up here and I think we're done with all the questions pretty much. Definitely big thanks. Had all 3. Thanks Tracy Brown too.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for doing all these. Good luck. Yeah, thanks for Oh, CL 45. Oh yeah, Colt 40. Yeah, that's okay. Colt from Discord too. Yep. Talked to Colt quite a bit. Hectic for life. Colt from Patreon. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you think?
So, yep. We're going to go back. I'm going to thank everybody once again for all the donations. We're going to hit up all the donations once again. Scrolling, lots of comments. Lance. Obviously, of course, Lance. James Niffen, Tracy Brown, Ryan Ford. All names that I recognize, by the way. Talked to all of y'all quite a bit. So, Rodney Shelby.
Rodney, yeah.
Yeah, definitely recognize that name. And then we got down to some wars down here. James Helen. Yeah, I know that you like the Idol. Congratulations on winning that again, by the way. That was cool. Lance again. James again.
Lance again.
Different
James
colors,
again.
yeah. The other James.
I wonder how it determines the colors.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just random. I don't think it has anything. Well, no, I think the teal ones are under $10.
Under $10.
Under $9.99 or whatever. I think there's levels. I might have to click on that and find out. But I think there's actually levels based on how much you donate.
Let's see if I can take
So yep, Lance once again. Eric and Eric. What? Wait, how does this work? I'm lost. Oh, please, yeah. Yeah. Basically what it is, we turn on this thing called Super Chat. And basically what it does is there's a little $sign under the chat box down at the bottom. You click that, and if you donate money, it puts up one of these big boxes. And because we have so many comments and it takes so long to get through them, if you want to just donate something, or if you want to ask a question, you want to spend some time on it, or if you want to, bump yourself to the front of the line or whatever, or obviously get some plugs for your YouTube channel.
Or your Patreon account.
Yeah. So yeah, swag. We're about ready to cut it off, and we're gonna go watch a couple 40-year-olds flop around a ring in Bellator and hopefully beat each other up.
Right, yeah.
But next time, we'll get you next time. What? Oh man, so I
She's going
check
crazy.
the world thing. Yeah.
I heard one a little bit ago. She wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I heard that one pretty clear.
I did.
I was hoping I could see this pretty quick.
Yeah. We're using a lot of internet right now.
Yeah, I don't need.
Give you more of a switch from Miller Lite to Michelob Ultra.
I'm gonna thumbs up us right now.
Oh, man.
We only got 16 thumbs up. We need some thumbs up.
Yeah.
We need to get some thumbs up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, get some thumbs. There's I would like to address this too. I probably shouldn't. But if you don't like a bowling ball, don't thumbs down, because what it actually does, the YouTube algorithms used to be that the more views you had, the higher up you got on the list. But people would start doing the clickbaity pictures or the clickbaity titles just to get you to click on it. And so they found out that just because you clicked on it doesn't mean it's a good video. And so now they do the thumbs up, thumbs down thing. So the bigger of a thumbs up to thumbs down ratio you have, they assume that that's got to be a better video, so you get up higher in the search stuff. So if you don't like a bowling ball, don't thumbs down it. Just leave a nasty gram in the comments or whatever and say, this ball's garbage, I hate this ball, and Interesting.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Send a super chat.
Alright. No.
Got it? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you already chipped in.
I'm trying to.
Anthony, when are you going to join the Discord? Man, he called you right out there.
I would like to address this too. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah, you're going to have to enter your credit card information, all that kind of nonsense.
Well, I can get all the way to that point now.
Yeah. Man, it might even just.
Well, I was kind of hoping it would show because see, it's even teal here.
Yeah, I think what the deal is if you put a different, just drop back out of that.
I was just kind of interested in why there were so many like $9.99s. I didn't know if.
Yeah. And I think
it's already in there. I can pay you right with one click.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna close that.
All right.
Let's try $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh, the most you can do is 100.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right, that's red.
No, you can probably do $199. No, you can probably do $9.99. It's always good. So anything over 100 is red. So yeah, change it.
Oh, it changes to pink.
Oh yeah. There's all kinds of colors. We ain't even seen all the colors yet.
Orange.
Yeah. Orange. Yeah, orange.
Ooh. So it's pink from like 60 to 99.
Yeah.
All right. This is actually really cool. I didn't even know what we were doing.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, we got beer. You want to talk on camera?"
Swag gonna set up Patreon. This dude is hilarious on Facebook, by the way.
Who's this?
Clay Swag, man. He's called some people out. How many times? I'm not gonna get into that. But you're freaking hilarious. So I put 2 and 2 together. By the way, I kind of figured that out.
Yeah, that's really cool. Man, it's really cool that you can do that.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's really helpful.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it a day here and go watch some fights. And there's some beer left in the growlers, and I'm working on that shipping a growler thing because somebody was interested in getting some of the Norseman beer. I'm also gonna plug them, by the way, if you're ever in Topeka, Kansas, driving through. They're not very far off I-70, which is kind of the main drag right through here. Anyway, 830 North Kansas, Norsemen Brewing Company.
Yeah, you got the label right there on the glass.
Yeah, you got the label, and you probably can't see it anyway. You might be able to see it now, but probably not. Zoom in.
Fantastic stuff. They get really creative. There's a lot of times you go to these microbrews that don't really change up a whole lot.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch Stout.
Right. Maybe don't have the opportunity to invest in their business quite the same as these guys do. But, I mean, you look at a picture on Facebook and they've got like 50 boxes of Cinnamon Toast Crunch that they're putting into a vat. Mm-hmm. That, you're like, what could possibly come from that? These guys are absolutely creative. We hung out with a couple of them this weekend, Andy and Jared, at a bowling deal for Bowling for Kids' Sake that we did with them. The people are down to earth and fantastic people to hang out with. So, absolutely, if you get a chance, go by and talk to them.
Dogfish Head, 90 minutes, sat down to this and send it. Yeah, sorry, man. We started at 7 o'clock. We were going to cut it off at 9, but y'all were awesome. So, you can go back. It'll archive it, or you can go back and do whatever, and then we'll catch you on the next time. The next time is going to be the next time. I hope was going to be this time, but it didn't end up working out. So we've got a special extra guest that is you're not going to want to miss that. Just for who we're talking to. Yeah. It's a name that you're not going to know until we start talking about him, until you start doing some stuff.
Start doing some research.
And it's heckin' cool, and this guy is just legendary anyway. So give him a beer and turn the camera on for 2 hours, and it's going to be awesome.
Especially if we give him a couple of beers before the camera comes on.
And I think that's the one that I'm going to try to get done. I'm trying to work on scheduling with my brother to do it over at the brewery, so it could be just cool. And now that now I'm untethered here, I don't have to carry a freaking computer in there. We've got the laptop, all this stuff's mobile now, so that we can start doing this. And obviously the donations help out a crap ton. So
more than you guys even know.
Thanks a bunch. Swag, yeah, thanks if you set up Patreon, that's a really great time. So, all right, so. Thanks, everybody. James, Ryan, the other James, Tracy, Methuselah.
Yeah, Methuselah seemed to be into me.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, okay.
I got one.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see when see if we can get your...
I hope you guys can hear this, because it makes us look like we were looking for ghosts. But
my wife's a huge Royals fan, so...
All right, well, everybody, it's been a pleasure to do this, and we love doing this stuff. Bowling is our life.
Oh,
yeah. So the more that we can support the sport, support bowling, period, even if it's just sitting here and talking to you guys about it, and then maybe getting you guys motivated to subscribe to bowling channels, subscribe to Extra Frame. All you're doing is supporting our sport of bowling. So this is why we do it. I mean, it's a good time, but overall, we want to support the sport we love, so.
Yeah, thanks a bunch, especially there's a lot of you guys that stuck with us through the whole thing, so.
That's really cool,
too. For 2.5 hours. That's
almost as long as the new Avengers movie.
Yeah. Oh, somebody mentioned something about the Avengers movie and asked how it was, or I think it was I like YouTube.
Oh man,
I haven't seen it yet. He's seen it. He likes it.
It is I still don't know.
Yeah.
I love the movie and I don't know why.
That's somebody else on Twitter that I follow said that he's like, it's been 24 hours since I've seen it and I'm still shook.
Oh yeah.
So,
no, I think about it constantly. It's like it's like an everlong dream, and the fact that they don't even know the title to the next one blows my mind. Because I can think of 80, and they give it to you. So,
all right, we're gonna, instead of monologuing forever, we're gonna shut it off.
Shut it down.
Thanks
Have a great
again.
day.
Really appreciate it. Talk to you later.